Hello, 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 hello. Yes, everyone. How are you all? And very good evening to all of you. Are you all ready for our day 4? Everyone just reply. Are you all ready? I think you are also getting a good feeling that now you are also coming at 6 p.m. at the right time and starting the class. The feeling is same as you used to do when there was some face-to-face classes. Am I right or not? So discipline is required. Whenever you start any process, for that discipline is must. Without discipline, from my point of view, whatever I have experienced in my life, nothing can be achieved. Trust me, I also follow a daily routine in my life, and that is must, that I need to record my 9 hours class. That is must. So now to record class, a discipline is required, consistency required, commitment required. Otherwise, without a student, it is not possible to record classes. You sometimes feel that teachers are only recording. No, it is very difficult to record the classes. But we are 100% committed, 100% disciplined, and therefore we are able to record the classes. Now, that same thing required from a student also. If they are listening any classes, whatever recorded classes, they need to be also committed and disciplined for that. Now, with this, I just want to ask that have you completed all the questions whatever I have given to you in our all the last 3 classes? Have you completed all the questions? If yes, mention yes. If no, mention no. Whatever you will say, same in true. If you have done all the questions, say yes sir, completed. If you have not done, say no sir, not completed. Fast. Nothing is emergency in your life. Only one thing is emergency right now, your exam. I am also coming daily. You need to also come daily. Got this point? If suppose I will say I can't come due to some emergency situation, will you accept? You will not accept now. Same thing, I will not accept. Got this point? Right on decision. Suppose I postpone the classes for 10 days is because of some emergency. Will you like that? Will you feel happy about that? No, na. Same thing with me. Got this point? Okay, no excuses now. You need to come, listen the classes as per time. Trust me, I am really not happy. I am unhappy. If you are saying few questions are left, if you are saying, sir, I am sorry, I am not able to complete it, trust me, I am not happy. I am super unhappy right now. Means I am just want some discipline from your side. You need to do the questions. Means I will say if you are sleeping for 7 hours, sleep for 6 hours, but complete your entire questions. If you are sleeping for 6 hours, sleep for 5 hours. If you are sleeping 5 hours, sleep for 4 hours. But whatever job is there, you need to complete it. Are you getting what I am saying? That much commitment is required. If you sleep for 4 hours, you will not die. Will you die? So you should sleep only after completing all the pending work. That much commitment is required. If you are married, I am also married. Don't give this type of excuses. You are married, I am married. No, no, no. These excuses will not come. You want result, you need to work. And you are working for yourself, your career. Don't give this bakwas excuses now. Next time, if I ask the question, I want everyone, at least I want 90% to say, yes, sir, I have completed. Understood. 10%, I always say there is one exception case. But if you say 90% saying not done, the result is okay now. 10%, 20% result. You should not blame ICA for that now. Chalo. Thank you very much to make me unhappy at the start of the class. Thank you very much. Unnecessary, you are making me angry. Trust me, if I would have been in front of you now, I would have given a big slap. Chalo. Now leave this because I need to complete the syllabus also. Okay. Now, coming to India's 23, last class we were doing India's 23 and we have just done up to what the meaning of borrowing cost and the accounting treatment. Let us revise what we have done first. The borrowing costs are the interest costs and other costs in connection with the borrowing fund. Borrowing means long-term borrowing as well as short-term borrowing, but it will not include. Means any cost of equity is not covered in this chapter. However, preference share capital is classified as financial liability also. If preference share capital has been classified as financial liability, then the cost of preference share means preference dividend for preference share will be also come under definition of borrowing cost. Now, borrowing costs include interest expense calculated by effective interest method as per Ind AS 109. It will also include interest expense in respect of ROU asset held by lessee as per Ind AS 116, and it will also include exchange difference arising from foreign currency borrowing to the extent it is regarded as an adjustment to interest cost. However, initially we'll discuss only about point number A. Point number B will discuss under Ind AS 116 chapter, and point number C will be discussed at the end. When we say effective interest method, so now discount on issue of debenture, premium or redemption debenture, or any ancillary cost in connection with the borrowing will be automatically included in the amount of interest expenses calculated by effective interest rate. Got this point? I hope now you have understood what is effective interest rate. However, one I just want to say one point about Ind AS 109. Whenever there is a transaction cost, try to understand this point. If there is transaction cost, if there is a transaction cost, then in that case, effective rate of interest will be different from contractual rate of interest. If there is no transaction cost, if there is no transaction cost means what? It is as simple as what I am saying: underwriting commission, brokerage, etc. In that case, effective rate of interest will be equal to contractual rate of interest. Now, in this chapter, trust me, I will say only one or two question has been given where effective rate of interest is different from contractual rate of interest. However, most of the question effective rate of interest and contractual rate of interest are same. So don't be confused. If suppose they have not given transaction cost, then contractual rate of interest will only become what effective rate of interest. However, detailed discussion about this we'll do in which chapter? In Ind AS 109. Detailed discussion. Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Can we proceed now? Yes, sir. Now, Then we have done accounting treatment. So we have now understood that borrowing cost, if borrowing cost is directly attributable to the construction, acquisition or production of a qualifying asset, then it will be capitalized. Now what is the meaning of qualifying asset? Qualifying asset are those assets which take substantial period of time for getting ready for its intended use or sale. So what is the meaning of substantial period of time? If any asset takes more than 12 months, it will be always qualifying asset from examination point of view. But if any asset is taking less than 12 months, then it may or may not be a qualifying asset the depending upon the requirement of the question. I will say depending upon the requirement of question. Means depending upon the facts and circumstances, you need to take a proper assumption in examination. I have already said if the question says construction, normally we should assume it is a qualifying asset. If a question says purchase, normally we should assume it is not a qualifying asset. However, two type of asset has been excluded from the definition of qualifying asset. First, any asset which are measured initially at fair value. For example, biological asset and any inventory that are manufactured or otherwise produced in large quantity but on a repetitive basis, even though they take substantial period of time, that will not be a qualifying asset. Got this point? Yes, sir. However, any asset that are ready for its intended use or sale at the time of purchase, at the time of acquisition, that will also not be a qualifying asset. Now let us come to the calculation of amount of capitalization. What amount will be capitalized? For that purpose, borrowing are of two types. One is known as specific borrowing, second is known as non-specific borrowing. What is the meaning of specific borrowing? Any borrowing which has been taken for the purpose of for the specific purpose. For example, if you have taken loan for construction of building, that becomes specific borrowing. In that case, what amount will be capitalized? In that case, the entire borrowing cost incurred during the capitalization period will be capitalized. Entire borrowing cost means in that case actual borrowing cost incurred irrespective of expenditure during capitalization period will be capitalized. Understood? Once again, borrowing cost will be calculated by applying EIR. It is calculated by applying EIR. Whenever I say interest expense will be calculated by applying EIR. Okay? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So actual borrowing cost incurred irrespective of expenditure incurred during capitalization period. What is capitalization period? Capitalization period is the period for which we are doing capitalization. Understood? We'll discuss capitalization period and at the end of the chapter once again. Are you able to follow me? This is the borrowing cost to be capitalized. But what Ind AS 23 says that if suppose the funds, whatever borrowing funds you have received, that is temporarily invested outside the business, then any income generated from the temporary investment will be deducted from the borrowing cost and net amount will be capitalized. And the net amount will be capitalized. So any income earned from temporary investment will be deducted and the net amount will be capitalized. For example, if you have taken a loan of 10 lakh, and your rate of interest is 15%, and out of 10 lakh, you have done expenditure on qualifying asset on 6 lakh. Means expenditure on qualifying asset is how much? 6 lakh. What is the loan amount? Loan amount is 10 lakh. My question to all of you, suppose it is 12-month period, construction period is 12 months. How much borrowing cost will be capitalized? Calculate fast. How much borrowing cost will be capitalized? Everyone fast. Loan is equal to 10 lakh. Rate of interest 15%. Expenditure on qualifying asset is 6 lakh. How much borrowing cost will be capitalized? Excellent. The answer is correct. 10 lakh into 15% means 6 lakh is not at all relevant. Means anyone is saying 6 lakh into 15%, that is 100% wrong. So right now I hope you are not able to understand my emotion. Expenditure is not relevant for specific borrowing. Whatever borrowing cost is incurred, that is directly attributable for the construction, acquisition or production of that qualifying asset. Therefore this expenditure is not at all relevant. You have to calculate 15% of 10 lakh, not 15% 6 lakh. This is the area where 90% student will do mistake in exam. 90% student will do mistake in exam. Let me come to one question. Question number 7. Come to question number 7 fast. Come to question number 7. What they have given? Alpha Limited on 1st April 2001 borrowed 9% 30 lakh to finance the construction of two qualifying assets. Specific borrowing. Construction started on 1st April 2001. The loan facility was availed on 1st April 2001 and used as follows with the remaining fund invested temporarily at 7%. The remaining fund will be invested temporarily at 7%. Yes, sir. Understood? Yes, sir. So this will be the income which will be earned from the temporary investment. They have there were two qualifying assets, factory building and office building. On 1st April 2001, expenditure incurred is 5 lakh and 10 lakh respectively. On 1st October 2001, 5 lakh and 10 lakh respectively. It means for factory building 10 lakh, office building 20 lakh. Total loan amount is 30 lakh. Calculate the cost of asset and the borrowing cost to be capitalized. It means in this case, can I say irrespective of expenditure in factory building 10 lakh is the total loan amount and office building 20 lakh is the total loan amount. So in factory building will do 10 lakh into 9%. 10 lakh into 9% and office building will do 20 lakh into 9%. Got this point? But can you say whatever expenditure was not incurred initially, that will be temporary investment for the first 6 months. It means for office building 5 lakh remain unused for the first 6 months and office building 10 lakh remain unused for the first 6 months. That will be temporary investment and will earn interest income on that for the first 6 months. So therefore we'll do less 5 lakh into 7% into 6 by 12. This will be interest income earned. And here 10 lakh into 7% into 6 by 12. This will be the interest income earned and this is the net amount which will be capitalized. Understood? Have you understood this point? Super important, can be asked in exam. If you are not able to understand right now in exam, you will do mistake. Quite possible in exam you will do mistake. Understood? Question number 7 you understood. Let us come to next point. What is the next point? Non-specific or general borrowing. So any borrowing which can be used for any purpose, that is known as non-specific borrowing. In that case what we do? We first calculate the capitalization rate. What is the capitalization rate? There can be more than one non-specific borrowing. For that purpose, we calculate capitalization rate. Capitalization rate is nothing but weighted average interest rate for all non-specific borrowing which can be used for the construction, acquisition or production of a qualifying asset. Got this point? Have you understood what I am saying? Let me take one question to explain this. Can I take one question to explain this? Because this is very important. Can be asked in exam. I will read, you will not be able to understand. Come to one question directly. I will come to directly one good question. One good question will take. Come to question number. Directly I am coming to good questions, okay? Yeah. Come to this question. What is given? K Limited began the construction of new building at an estimated cost of 7 lakh on 1st April 2001. So, K Limited began the construction building at an estimated cost. This cost is not relevant. Estimated cost is not at all relevant. Okay. To finance the construction of building, it obtained a specific loan of 2 lakh from a financial institution at an interest rate of 9% per annum. Okay. So there is a specific loan of 9% per annum. 2 lakh is the amount. 2 lakh is the loan amount. The company's other outstanding loan were 7 lakh 12%, 9 lakh 11%. So 7 lakh 12%, 9 lakh 11%. The expenditure incurred on the construction was April, August, October, January. These are the expenditure incurred at the beginning of each month. If nothing is given, always we'll assume at the beginning of each month. The construction of building were completed by 31st Jan. 31st Jan means 1st April to 31st Jan. It is how many months? 10 months. So your capitalization period is 10 months. Correct? Once the capitalization period is completed, then we'll cease borrowing cost capitalization. Got this mind? You need to capitalize only for how many months? 10 months. Understood? Yes, sir. Following the principle of Ind AS 23, we need to calculate the amount of borrowing cost to be capitalized. In this case, first we calculate capitalization rate. For non-specific borrowing. So whenever there are two or more than two non-specific borrowing, we calculate capitalization rate. So what is the formula? First we'll calculate 7 lakh into 12%. How much? It is 84,000. Then 9 lakh into 11%. How much? 99,000. It means total become 84,000 plus 99,000. It become 1,83,000. 1,83,000. Understood? Okay, this is the borrowing cost on non-specific borrowing for the entire 12 months. For the entire 12 months. So capitalization rate will be calculated on per annum basis. On per annum basis, not for 10 months, we'll calculate on per annum basis. Got this point? Yes, sir. Now divided by, we'll do weighted average borrowing fund. What is the meaning of weighted average borrowing fund? We need to apply time it for how many months the borrowing was outstanding during that particular period. To it was outstanding for the entire 12 months. So what we'll do, 7 lakh into 12 by 12 plus 9 lakh into 12 by 12. Just try to understand, it is quite possible they have given this 9 lakh was outstanding only for 6 months. Then you will calculate interest for 6 months and your weighted average borrowing fund will be also for 6 months. You will do 6 by 12. Till now that type of question has not been asked in CA final exam, but if once they will ask, most of the student will do wrong in calculation of capitalization rate only. Can you calculate this? What amount is coming to? It is 1,83,000 divided by 7 plus 9, it is 16 lakh. Okay, so that is coming how much? It become 11.4375%. This become capitalization rate. So first you calculate capitalization rate. Understood? Have you understood? Now what we'll do, we'll find out the average expenditure from non-specific borrowing on qualifying asset. So what is the total expenditure? What is the total expenditure? You can see 1,50,000 plus 2 lakh plus 3,50,000 plus 1 lakh. It is 8 lakh. But out of this 8 lakh, it is a 2 lakh is from specific borrowing. It means this 1,50,000 is from specific borrowing and this 50,000 is from specific borrowing. So can you say this is nil from non-specific borrowing and this will be 1,50,000 from non-specific borrowing. This will be 3,50,000 from non-specific borrowing and this will be 1 lakh from non-specific borrowing. Got this point? Now we'll calculate average expenditure or average expenditure from non-specific borrowing on qualifying asset. So what we'll do, into 12 by 12. This will be into 12 by 12. Not. Are you getting? 12 by 12 will do, or into 10 by 12 will do. Just try to understand our capitalization period is what? Our capitalization period is what? 10 months. It means we'll do 10 by 12. So for April month, it will be 10 by 12. However, it is nil. Are you able to follow me? Then August, September, October, November, December, January. So it is 6 by 12. Then October, November, December, January. It will be 4 by 12. Then January, it will be 1 by 12. Have you understood this? Have you understood this? So you can find out average expenditure. Can you give me average expenditure? This is nil. This is 1,50,000 into 6 by 12. That is equal to 75,000. This is 3,50,000 into 4 divided by 12. How much? That is how much? 1,16,667. And this is 1 lakh into 1 divided by 12. It is 8,333. What is the total? 75,116. 1,16,667 plus 8,333. How much it is coming? 2 lakh. Is it coming 2 lakh? Everyone check. Let me check the answer. They have done by some other method. Is it coming 2 lakh? Everyone? Yes, sir. So now on 2 lakh, we'll apply 11.4375%. How much it is coming? It is coming 22,875. 22,875. You can see it will come 22,875. And for specific borrowing, what was the amount? 2 lakh. So 2 lakh into 9% into, we'll do 10 by 12. So for specific borrowing, it will be 15,000. For specific borrowing also we'll do for 10 months. Are you able to understand? So plus 15,000, it is coming how much? Plus 22,875. It is coming 37,875. Check your answer is exactly same. Answer is exactly same, 37,875. However, you can do as per ICA solution also. They have done the mathematics in some other way. However, they have also done 10 by 12, 10 by 12, we can see 6 by 12, 4 by 12, 1 by 12. We have done that also. We have also done, but you can see for the first 2 lakh they have used 9% into 10 by 12, and for the balance expenditure they have done 11.4375 into 6 by 12, 11.4375 into 4 by 12, 11.4375 into 1 by 12. So this is our what? This is borrowing cost to be capitalized for non-specific borrowing. Got this point? Super easy. So what I have said that you do, in that you will never do mistake. First, ignore what is specific borrowing, because specific borrowing, the entire borrowing cost will be capitalized, but irrespective of expenditure, but only for capitalization period. Therefore, I have done 10 by 12. Understood? Have you understood this entire solution? This is one of the favorite question of the institute. Means this same question they will ask in CA Inter, same question they will ask in CA Final. But nowadays I have seen in CA Final they are asking for a different type of question. But it, I will say last the 4 year or 5 year before, this was the only question which they used to ask in CA Inter as well as in CA Final. Have you understood this point? If you have understood, I'll proceed. Question number 15. Have you understood? When doubt came, sir, kindly explain once again the situation of the non-specific borrowing available for less than 12 months. Means what I was saying, just try to understand. Suppose you have taken 12% loan of 10 lakh. This was you have taken on 1/4. And on 1st July, you have taken 15% loan of 5 lakh. So in this case, the rate of, in this case, interest will be 10 lakh into 12% into 12 by 12. How much? 10 lakh into 12%, that is equal to 1,20,000. But in this case it will be 5 lakh into 15%, 1/7. So it will be 9 by 12. 9 by 12. So 5 lakh into 15% into 9 divided by 12. How much? It is 56,250. This you have understood? You can see in this case we are calculating interest for 12 months. In this case we are calculating interest for 9 months because it was outstanding for 9 months. So while calculating capitalization rate, what we'll do? We'll do 1,20,000 plus 56,250 divide by 10 lakh into 12 by 12 plus 5 lakh into what? Into what will do? 12 by 12 or 9 by 12? So this is outstanding for 9 by 12. So it will be 9 by 12. This I am saying, this type of question till now not asked in exam. 100% due can be asked in exam. Have you understood now? Can I proceed? Bolo. I think now you have understood. Your doubt is clear? Yes, sir. Now, done. So same thing is given. Yahan par you can read whatever I have said. Same thing has been given. Okay. Now, can I say whatever total borrowing cost, out of that, if you deduct the borrowing cost capitalized, the difference will be charged to profit and loss account as an expense. The difference will be charged to profit and loss account as an expense. Try to understand one thing. Here, most of the student is actually have a doubt. When I say specific borrowing, so in that case, the borrowing cost is calculated on loan amount, and we apply the effective rate of interest to find out borrowing cost to be capitalized. But for non-specific borrowing, we multiply with expenditure on qualifying asset, multiply by capitalization rate. Means for non-specific borrowing, we first find out what is the expenditure on qualifying asset, then on that expenditure we apply capitalization rate. On that expenditure we apply capitalization rate. Understood? Chalega? Yes, sir. Okay. Now, this one simple point that amount of borrowing cost that an entity capitalized during a period shall not exceed the amount of borrowing cost actually incurred. 100% true. If your actual borrowing cost is 10 lakh, can you capitalize more than 10 lakh? Impossible. It can be possible when your expenditure is more than loan amount. When your expenditure is more than loan amount, let us take one example. Suppose you have taken 10% loan of 10 lakh and 20% loan of 15 lakh, but your expenditure on qualifying asset is 40 lakh. So can you say in this case when you apply capitalization rate on this, so of course your borrowing cost to be capitalized is more than the actual borrowing cost incurred. In that case, what our Ind AS 23 says that we need to restrict the capitalization to the extent of actual borrowing cost incurred. We need to restrict the capitalization to the extent of actual borrowing cost incurred. Are you getting? Yes, sir. So in this case, what we do? Whatever actual borrowing cost incurred, that will be allocated to each qualifying asset in the ratio of their expenditure. Means if there are more than one qualifying asset, then what will do? So actual borrowing cost incurred, that will be allocated. Actual borrowing cost incurred will be allocated to each qualifying asset in the ratio of their expenditure. Understood this point? Have you understood this point? Have you understood? Till now this type of question also have been not asked in exam, but in the recent time in CA Inter and in CMA final exam, the same question was asked. In CA final till now not asked. CA Inter they have asked. CMA final they have asked. The CMA final is a different exam, but in CA final till now they have not asked. Quite possible they may ask now in CA final also. Got this point? Have you understood this? If you say yes, I will proceed. If you say yes, I will proceed. So in this case, whenever expenditure on qualifying asset is more than loan amount, then there can be a situation that borrowing cost to be capitalized is actually more than actual borrowing cost incurred. In that case, actual borrowing cost will be allocated to each qualifying asset in the ratio of their expenditure. Understood? Why you have not understood? Very simple now. Why? Simple. Try to understand. Try to react with me what I am saying. I can't take example right now where I don't have questions. Try to understand. If I will create question, then it will take a lot of time. Try to understand what I am saying. I say there are two loans. 10 lakh 10%, 15 lakh 20%. So of course you will calculate capitalization rate. And when you apply that capitalization rate on 40 lakh is more than this amount. So this borrowing cost to be capitalized is more than what? Actual borrowing cost. In that case, can you capitalize more than actual borrowing cost? No. So in that case, actual borrowing cost will be allocated to each qualifying asset. Actual borrowing cost will be allocated to each qualifying asset in the ratio of their expenditure. What is wrong in this? In the ratio of their expenditure. Understood now? Question I can't take. If I'll create question, then try to understand. I will exceed my time. Try to understand what I am saying. Have you understood now this particular point? Bolo. Have you understood? Yes, sir. It's very simple, nothing to explain this. Whenever this situation arises and there are more than one qualifying asset, then actual borrowing cost will be allocated to each qualifying asset in the ratio of their expenditure. I am saying in the ratio of their expenditure. Expenditure will be given. Actual borrowing cost, you can allocate. What is wrong in this? Understood? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Correct. Now, this is also very important point. When the carrying amount of qualifying asset exceeds recoverable amount in case of property, plant and equipment, intangible asset or investment property, or NRB is in case of inventory. So when the carrying amount of qualifying asset exceeds recoverable amount of NRB, then the carrying amount is written down or written off in accordance with the requirement of other standard. Other standard means Ind AS 36 or Ind AS 2. Let me give one example. Suppose the cost price of finished goods, which is a qualifying asset, is 10 lakh. NRB of this is 11 lakh. And borrowing cost to be capitalized is equal to 3 lakh. Understood? So if you capitalize borrowing cost, it will become how much? 13 lakh. But whether it can exceed NRB? No. So in this case, how much you write down immediately? So 2 lakh will be written off and that will be transferred to profit and loss account. Means, can I say in simple word, can I say in this case borrowing cost to the extent of 1 lakh will be capitalized, but borrowing cost to the extent of 2 lakh will be charged to profit and loss account as an expense. Have you understood this point? Have you understood this point? Bolo. Got this point? Very important point from MCQ's point of view. Can be asked in multiple choice question. Can be asked in multiple choice question. Same thing will be done for property, plant, equipment, etc. In that case, we'll compare with recoverable amount. Got this point? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Then expenditure to which capitalization rate is applied. Expenditure. Now, when I say expenditure, so expenditure is for what? Non-specific borrowing. So expenditure, whatever expenditure we are calculating, multiply by capitalization rate. Correct. So expenditure to which capitalization rate will be applied will be what? So here expenditure, you only say, means expenditure means accrued expenditure, or it means cash expenditure. What do you think? Means suppose you purchase one property, plant, equipment. So your journal entry is what? Property, plant, equipment 10 lakh. Out of that, you have done payment of rupees 8 lakh. Until now, 2 lakh is not paid. 2 lakh is not paid. So this journal entry is correct because we do journal entry on accrual basis. But for this chapter, expenditure means what? 8 lakh or 10 lakh? You say. For this chapter means for Ind AS 23, expenditure means 10 lakh or 8 lakh? For this chapter, expenditure means 10 lakh or 8 lakh? Very good. So in this case, expenditure means only cash payment. Only cash payment means will not consider any expenditure which is not yet paid as a part of expenditure. So expenditure here means only cash expenditure, even though we do accounting on accrual basis. But can I say expenditure means what? Whatever has been used from the borrowing fund. If till now you have not used the borrowing fund, the question of capitalization will not arise. So here expenditure means cash expenditure as reduced by any grant whatever you have received. So if you have received any grant, that will be reduced. So if you have received some grant for any party, that will reduce. Chalega? Correct. And this will be also added, this will also include any borrowing cost which was capitalized during previous year. Means any borrowing cost which was capitalized during previous year will be also added. Understood? Let me take one example. Suppose this is first year, this is second year, this is third year. Expenditure of first year is 10 lakh. Expenditure of second year is 20 lakh. And the capitalization rate is 10%. So how much borrowing cost capitalized in the first year? That is 1 lakh. It means the carrying amount of expenditure become 11 lakh. It means in the second year, what is your expenditure? In second year, expenditure will be 11 lakh plus 20 lakh. That is what? 31 lakh. 11 lakh plus 20 lakh. That is 31 lakh. Means can you see the carrying amount of expenditure will include the borrowing cost which was previously capitalized. Understood this point? Have you understood this point? Last attempt, same question, similar question was already asked. Last attempt similar question already asked. So I don't know whether now it is important, not important. We used to say very, very important, that question have been already asked. Have you understood this point? Bolo. Yes, sir. Yes, the same thing has been given here. The amount of expenditure on a qualifying asset include only those expenditure that have resulted in a payment of cash. That have resulted in a payment of cash. Expenditure reduced by the grant received in connection with the asset. Any grant received in connection with the asset. The average carrying amount of the asset during a period, including borrowing costs previously capitalized, is normally a reasonable approximation of expenditure to which capitalization rate is applied in that period. So only one question we have of this nature, and that question have been asked in exam. If you want, I can do it again. You want me to do it? Question number 23. Come to question number 23. Question number 23. Yes, sir. Let me do. LT Limited is in the process of constructing a building. The construction process is expected to take about 18 months from 1st Jan 2001 to 30th June 2002. It means in this, from 1st Jan 2001 to 31st March 2001, 1 year. Then from 1st April 2001 to 31st March 2002, another year. So it means it consists of 3 years. The building meet a definition of a qualifying asset. 1st Jan 2001, this much expenditure. 30th June 2001, this much expenditure. 31st March 2002, this much expenditure. 30th June, this much expenditure. On 1st July 2001, LT Limited issued 10% redeemable debenture of rupees 50 crore. So they have issued redeemable debenture of 50 crore. The proceed from the debenture form part of company's general borrowing. It is a general borrowing which it used to finance the construction of qualifying asset. Then you can read, not required. Means they have taken a loan on which date? On 1st July 2001. Now we need to find out the borrowing cost to be capitalized for each year. Borrowing cost to be capitalized for each year. Question, have you understood? Have you understood the question? So I have the answer for this. Let me explain the answer. Let me explain the answer for this. You can see this is the question. So you can see this become the first year. Yes or no? This become the first year. This is the second year, and this is the third year. And you can see the first expenditure was incurred on 1st Jan 2001. Correct. Second expenditure was incurred on 30th June 2001. Third expenditure was incurred on 31st March 2002. And the fourth expenditure was incurred on 30th June 2002. Yes, sir. Chalega. And the loan was taken on this date. The loan was taken on 1st July 2001, that is 50 crore. 50 crore. Understood. Now just try to understand. One doubt came, is sir, any expenditure which has been incurred in previous year. So in previous year there was no borrowing. In previous year there was no borrowing, the question of capitalization will not arise. So can you say in previous year, because there was no borrowing, the borrowing cost to be capitalized will be zero. The borrowing cost to be capitalized will be zero. But in the second year, because the loan was taken on 1st July, so can you say the capitalization will be eligible only for 9 months? Only for 9 months. On expenditure on qualifying asset. On expenditure on qualifying asset. Just try to understand when India's 23 says expenditure on qualifying asset. So this is the entire expenditure on qualifying asset. Whatever has been incurred till date. Whatever has been incurred till that means will not make one-to-one relationship when the loan was availed, and when the expenditure is incurred. Means this expenditure will be also taken into consideration. This expenditure will be also taken into consideration. This expenditure will be taken into consideration. And can I say for this expenditure will do capitalization for the entire 9 months because loan was availed on 1st July. For this expenditure also capitalization will be done for 9 months. But for this expenditure, because this expenditure was done on 31st March 2002, we'll do capitalization for 0 month. We'll do capitalization for 0 month. Understood this point? Have you understood this point? बोलो. This point you understood. You can see for the year end date 31st March 2001 nil capitalization. For the year end date second year on 5 crore 9 by 12, on 20 crore 9 by 12, but on the next 20 crore it is 0 by 12. So therefore your total capitalization will be 1.875. 1.875. Correct. Now coming to the third year. Okay, so for third year again we need to find out expenditure means carrying amount of qualifying asset. The carrying amount of qualifying asset will be 5 crore plus 20 crore plus 20 crore plus whatever has been capitalized, whatever borrowing cost has been capitalized, that is 1.875. So this plus this plus this plus 1.875, for that capitalization will be done for how many months? 3 months. You can see we have done that only for 5 crore, for 20 crore, for 20 crore, and for 1.875 we have done 3 by 12, 3 by 12, 3 by 12, 3 by 12, and we have calculated borrowing cost to be capitalized. But whatever expenditure has been incurred on 30th June, can you see no capitalization because that expenditure was incurred on 30th June only, and therefore no capitalization. So you can see we have done 5 crore, but we have done 0 by 12 and no capitalization. This is the what? Borrowing cost to be capitalized for third year. Understood this point? Super good question, but already asked in the last attempt. Therefore, now in the coming attempt, they will not ask. They can ask, huh? If I am saying not asked, the probability is less. Don't file a case against me. Understood? Yes, sir. The next point is about commencement, suspension, and cessation of capitalization. Means when to commence capitalization, when to suspend capitalization, when to cease capitalization. Very simple but important for MCQs. Very simple but important for MCQs. Once again, doubt came for in the second year, why for this 5 crore we have taken 9 by 2. I have already said expenditure here means total expenditure on qualifying asset irrespective of the period when it was incurred. What Ind AS 23 says that capitalization it will be applied on expenditure. So expenditure whatever has been incurred. Are you getting? So when the expenditure incurred was 5 crore plus 20 crore plus 20 crore, but borrowing cost will be capitalized for how many months? 9 months. Means on this 5 crore 9 months, on this 20 crore 9 months, on this 20 crore 0 month. Understood now? Have you understood this point? Correct? Got this point? Have you understood? Can I proceed? Yes, sir. Very good. Now, next point is what? When to commence capitalization. So, what Ind AS 23 says that will commence capitalization from the commencement date, and commencement is the date when three conditions is satisfied at a point of time cumulatively. Means when this all three conditions is satisfied at one point of time on a cumulative basis. That point of time is the commencement date, and from that date will start capitalization. So, what are the three conditions? It incur expenditure for the asset. Means expenditure has been started. For example, we have given advance for the construction of building, the expenditure is started, cash payment is started, so we have given advance, so your expenditure is started even though construction not begin, even though construction not started. If you have given advance for the construction, your expenditure started. It incur borrowing cost means you have taken loan and borrowing cost started, borrowing cost started, so it you started incurring borrowing cost, and it undertake activities that are necessary to prepare the asset for its intended use. Means started the activities, you started the activities which are necessary for the production, acquisition, or construction of a qualifying asset. Even though physical construction not started, even though physical construction not started, means started planning. Once you started planning, so can you say you have started the activity for the construction, acquisition, or production of a qualifying asset. Even though physical construction, even though production, even though acquisition not started, if all these conditions satisfied, that point of time will start capitalization. Understood? Have you understood? Let me take one example. Suppose this is the point when you have taken loan. This is the point when you have given the advance. This is the point when you started planning. This is the point when physical construction started. Physical construction started. This is A, B, C, D. But from which point of time will start capitalization? A, B, C, D. Start. A, B, C, D. Understood? Loan at this point of time, advance at this point of time, planning at this point of time, physical construction started at this point of time. You will start capitalization from which point of time? If you are saying D is not correct, from C. Physical construction is not at all necessary. You started planning, activities started for your activity started for construction, acquisition, or production of a qualifying asset. So you can see the first condition, yeah, second condition satisfied यहाँ पर, first condition satisfied यहाँ पर, and third condition satisfied यहाँ पर. So this is the point when we'll commence capitalization. Understood? Have you understood this point? Those who are saying B wrong, A wrong, D wrong, C is correct. C is correct. Have you understood C? Why is C understood? Let me take one more example. Let me take one more example. Suppose advance was given यहाँ पर, planning started यहाँ पर, physical construction started यहाँ पर, and loan was awarded यहाँ पर. A, B, C, D. बताओ from which point of time will start commencement of borrowing cost, capitalization? A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. D. Now you have understood D. Because can you say at the point of D, all the condition is satisfied cumulatively at that point of time. Cumulatively at that point of time. Understood? Have you understood? Can we proceed? Can we proceed? Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Now, next point. Next point is what? When to suspend. When to suspend. Acha, in this case, now there is one very special point which is not yet asked in exam. Suppose just try to understand. Suppose you started construction. You started construction of building, and for that purpose you purchase land and you hold it. You want to start construction of building. For that purpose you purchase land and you hold it, but construction not yet started. Are you getting what I am saying? So holding of land, whether it will be activities necessary for the construction of building, yes or no? Are you getting? Suppose you purchase the land for the construction of building, but till now no construction not started. Are you able to understand? So holding of land, whether it will be considered as the activities which are necessary for the construction of building, in Ind AS 23 says no. In Ind AS 23 says no. Understood? So exclude activities, exclude the holding of an asset when no production, no development that changes the asset condition is taken place. So that will not be in activities which is required for production, construction or acquisition of the asset. Understood? Very special point, but till now no question of this nature has been given in ICS study material. Okay, sir. Can we proceed? Can we proceed? Yes, sir. Then when to suspend? This is also very critical. If you want to understand conceptually, it is critical. If you want to understand, okay, then it is easy. So capitalization of borrowing costs shall be suspended. Shall be suspended during the extended period in which the active development is interrupted. Active development is interrupted. I always say due to unnecessary reason. Due to unnecessary reason. This is not given under Ind AS 23. This I just had to explain the student. So when the active development is interrupted due to unnecessary reason. So what Ind AS 23 want to say that if active development is interrupted due to necessary reason, which are necessary for the purpose of construction, acquisition, or production of a qualifying asset, then no suspension. So what do you mean by suspension? Suspension means that for a temporary period will stop capitalization. This is not permanently stop. It is for a temporary period will suspend capitalization. So when the active development is interrupted due to unnecessary reason, will suspend capitalization. What do you mean by unnecessary? It is very simple. Try to understand what is unnecessary. Whenever you know this is going to happen, whenever you know this is going to happen, this is necessary. Whenever you don't know this is going to happen, but that happened, that is unnecessary. In simple word. Are you getting what I am saying? In class, in our class, I just give simple example. Suppose you are preparing for your CA final exam, and you know 15 days you need to write your BCom exam. That you know. So can you say already you have done planning for that? That is necessary. So if you do not prepare for CA final exam because of BCom exam, that on that period no suspension. But just try to understand, you are preparing for CA final exam, but in 15 days, for 15 days you got fever. Can I say that was not known? That is unnecessary. That is unnecessary. Are you getting what I am saying? So whatever you know, if that has happened, that is necessary. Whatever you don't know, that has happened, that is unnecessary. For example, labor strike, unnecessary. Fire, unnecessary. Unnecessary. I'll just give a best example. Best example you will be able to understand. Suppose we are doing construction in Chiranjeev. You know Chiranjeev, there is the highest rainfall, and due to high level rainfall, what happened? We need to stop construction. So if in Chiranjeev you are doing some construction, so you know during rainy season there will be high rainfall, and that time we are supposed to stop the construction. तो बताओ in Cherrapunji Meghalaya, in Cherrapunji, if suppose due to high rainfall, active development interrupted, suspension or no suspension? Means will suspend or will not suspend? Yes or no? Reply. Understood? In Cherrapunji, in Meghalaya, due to high rainfall, if the construction stop, you will do suspension or no suspension of capitalization? बताओ. Very good. Necessary reason. But suppose you are in a city, there is rainfall, but not high rainfall. Means it will be rainfall, but because of rainfall never will never will never stop our construction. Quite possible. Are you able to understand? But what happened in that city? Uh, in one rainy season, there was a high rainfall and flood came. There was water logging, and because of that reason, you need to stop construction for that particular period. Now, batao, suspension or no suspension? Now, in that case, can I see you are not knowing, and you need to stop your construction? In that case, it will be unnecessary, and you need to suspend capitalization. Understood? I have just given the best example. I hope you have understood. The same thing is given. Now, when to cease capitalization of borrowing cost will cease when substantially all the activity, necessary to prepare the qualifying asset for its intended use or sale are completed. In simple word, once the asset is ready for its use or sale, will cease capitalization. So when the qualifying asset is ready for its intended use or sale, will cease capitalization permanently. Now what the word they have given? Substantially all the activities. Now substantially means what? Ki the physical construction is completed, only minor admin work is left. Only minor admin work is left. If minor admin work is left, then we'll say substantially all the activities has been completed and you can stop now capitalization. Correct? In this case, try to understand. Suppose there is one building, means you are doing construction of two buildings and you have taken a loan of 10 lakh for the construction of two buildings. Now building 1 is completed and building 2 is WIP. Understood? Loan has been taken for building 1 and building 2 together. Loan has been taken for building 1, building 2 together. Understood? Now my question to you all, everyone, can we cease capitalization for building 1? Because the construction of building 1 is completed. So what India has 23 say that you can seize the capitalization of a building 1 if you can use the building, if you can sell the building, even though the work on building 2 is not yet completed. But if you can't sell it, if you can't use it till the building 2 is completed, then you can't seize capitalization for building 1 also. Understood this point? Have you understood? Substantially already I have explained. As substantially means the physical construction is completed, only the minor admin work is left. That means substantially all the work has been completed. Substantially all the work has been completed. Got this point? Have you understood? This is important for MCQ type of question, can be asked in exam. Chalega? Yes sir. Then the last point, exchange difference arising from foreign currency borrowing which is allowed as an adjustment to interest cost. Exchange difference arising from foreign currency borrowing, which is allowed as an adjustment to interest cost. I think this is very simple, but let me explain with some examples. If you don't know, so I need to explain this. Achha, this always I explain the class by drawing this timeline. Suppose this is the date of loan, this is the construction commence, and here active development was interrupted. Understood? Here active development was interrupted at this point of time. Correct? So this will be the date when the commencement will start. So this is the period when the borrowing cost will be charged to PL account as an expense. For this period, borrowing cost will be capitalized. But once the active development is interrupted due to unnecessary reason, will suspend, and this borrowing cost will be charged to PL account as an expense. So let us say reconstruction commence on this date. Reconstruction commence on this date. Are you able to understand? Reconstruction commence on this date. So once again we recommence what? Capitalization for this period. We recommence the capitalization for this period. Okay. And here the asset was ready for its intended use. So we'll cease capitalization, and here the borrowing was repaid. So this borrowing cost will be charged to PL account as an expense. Understood this point? Chalega. It means in this case the capitalization period, this is your capitalization period. This is your capitalization period. Means if I am saying capitalization period, so this will be your capitalization period, and this will be also your capitalization period. Understood? Chalega. So if this is 3 months, this is 6 months, so 9 months will be your capitalization period. The same thing will be applicable for both specific borrowing as well as general borrowing. Means if it is specific borrowing, then also this will be charged to profit and loss account as an expense. For a specific borrowing, you can't say that this will be capitalized. Understood? Have you understood this point? Yes, sir. Chalo. Then coming to exchange difference arising from foreign currency borrowing. So in this case, I take 4 example in my class. Let me explain with the 4 example. Suppose the foreign currency borrowing is $10,000. Foreign currency borrowing is $10,000, and you have taken loan on 1/4/2024. Rate of interest of foreign currency borrowing is 4%. On 1/4/2004, $1 is equal to 80. On 31st March 2025, year end, $1 is equal to 85. Now functional currency borrowing. What do you mean by functional currency borrowing? Means borrowing taken in local currency, Indian currency. Whenever I say functional currency means local currency. Okay? Yes, sir. Rate of interest 12%. Means if the same loan you would have taken from Indian bank, the rate of interest would be 12%. In this case, what India 23 says that when you have taken foreign currency borrowing, there are 2 costs. One is interest cost, other is exchange loss. The interest cost will be $10,000 into 4%, and because interest is paid at year end, we will apply exchange rate at year end, and at year end it was 85. So into 85, this is the interest expense. Interest expense of foreign currency borrowing. And there will be one exchange loss also. Exchange loss means what? Due to changes in foreign exchange rate, so you can see 80 become 85, so your liability increases. So 10,000 into 5, liability will increase by 50,000. This will become exchange loss. So normally this is covered under Ind AS 23 and this is covered under Ind AS 21. Now Ind AS 21 says that any exchange loss will never be capitalized, that will be always charged to profit and loss account as an expense. Means exchange loss cannot be capitalized as per the requirement of Ind AS 21. But there is one exception rule for this particular point in Ind AS 23. Now what Ind AS 23 says that you should compare your foreign currency borrowing with the functional currency borrowing. If you would have taken loan in functional currency, what is the maximum interest you need to pay? So in this case, the 10,000 into 80 means if you would have taken the loan in functional currency, what is the proceed of loan amount received? So that is 10,000 into 80, and the rate of interest is 12%, means the 96,000 is the maximum interest you would have incurred. Therefore, what Ind AS 23 says that up to this amount, borrowing cost will be covered under Ind AS 23. Correct? Means this is 84,000, which is lower than 96,000. Therefore, entire 84,000 will be covered under Ind AS 23. Means nothing will be covered under Ind AS 21. So for that they have given one formula: exchange loss which will be covered under Ind AS 23. Exchange loss which will be covered under Ind AS 23 will be lower up to amount. Will be lower up to amount. First, exchange loss, actual exchange loss, that is 50,000. Second, difference between these two interests, 96,000 and 34,000, means difference in interest on functional currency borrowing and interest on foreign currency borrowing. 96 minus 34,000 will be what? 62,000. Will take the lower. Lower is 50,000. Therefore, 50,000 will be covered under, means out of total exchange loss, 50,000 will be covered under Ind AS 23. Means nothing will be covered under Ind AS 21. Nothing will be covered under Ind AS 21. Correct? It means exchange loss which is allowed as an adjustment to interest cost is an amount equal to 50,000. Means what is the total borrowing cost? Total borrowing cost will be how much? 34,000 plus 50,000, that is 84,000. So total borrowing cost will be 84,000. Now there are three type of question in MCQ they can ask. First question, how much exchange loss allowed as an adjustment to interest cost? Answer is 50,000. How much exchange loss will be covered under Ind AS 21? Answer is 0. What is the total borrowing cost? What is the total borrowing cost? Answer is 84,000. Answer is 84,000. So they can ask three questions in MCQ. First question is what? How much exchange loss will be covered under Ind AS 23? 50,000. How much exchange loss will be covered under Ind AS 21? 0. How much total borrowing cost? That is 84,000. Understood? Have you understood this point? Correct? चलेगा? Now, let me take one more example. Suppose the rate of interest of the functional currency borrowing is 9%. Means the above example remains same. Only I have changed the rate of interest from 12% to 9% for functional currency borrowing. So can you see interest in foreign currency borrowing is 34,000. And exchange loss will be also 50,000. Only this interest will change. Now this will be 10,000 into 80 into 99%. Sorry, 9%. That will be equal to 72,000. In this case, you can see 84,000 is more than 72,000. Means how much maximum interest can be covered under Ind AS 23? That is 72,000. So any excess will be covered under Ind AS 21. You can also understand this way. However, we'll apply the formula. What is covered under Ind AS 23? Lower of exchange loss. What is the exchange loss? 50,000. And the difference between 72 and 34. So 72 minus 34 is equal to 38,000. So you can see the lower is now 38,000. So out of 50,000, how much will be covered under Ind AS 23? That is 38,000. Out of 50,000, how much will be covered under Ind AS 21? That is 12,000. And what is the total borrowing cost? Total borrowing cost will be 34 plus 38, that is 72,000. Understood? Got this point? Bolo. Have you understood this point? Have you understood this point? Cost incurred if borrowed in India. Cost incurred if borrowed in India less cost exchange loss incurred. I'm not able to understand your doubt. Okay. Now, this next example, example number 3. Suppose in example number 1, means in example number 1, I have made one changes. Suppose the dollar rate on 31st March is 78. Means initially it was 80, now it becomes 78. So can you say now there will be no exchange loss, there will be exchange gain. So what Ind AS 23 says that if there is an exchange gain will never be allowed as an adjustment to interest cost. Exchange gain will be always transferred to profit and loss account as per Ind AS 21. So this will never be regarded as an adjustment to interest cost. This will be transferred to PL as per the requirement of Ind AS 21. Exchange gain till now no question have been asked in CA exam. If asked, most of the student will do wrong. Understood? But one there is very important point. Now there are two here. This is, I will say, tagra question. In CA final they will never ask, but if they ask, super good question. Okay. Now what I have said, year 1, year 2. Suppose $10,000, rate of interest 4%, $1 is equal to 80, and functional currency borrowing is 12%. Means year 1 is similar to example number 1. Year 1 is similar to example number 1. So in example number 1, borrowing cost interest was 34,000, exchange loss which will be covered under Ind AS 23 will be 50,000. The total borrowing cost is 84,000. Year 1 you understood? Year 1 you understood? Now year 2 what happened? Year 2 what happened? Now the exchange rate from 80, this was 85 and this become 83. Means in year 2 there is an exchange gain. So how the interest will be calculated? Interest will be 10,000 into 4% into 83. So interest will be 33,200. Now exchange gain will be 10,000 into 2 because 85 now become 83 to 2. Now what India 23 says, this exchange gain of the subsequent year will be allowed as an adjustment to interest cost to the extent of exchange loss which was allowed as an adjustment in the previous year. Means this 20,000 will be deducted from borrowing cost of this year to the extent of exchange loss which was previously allowed as an adjustment to interest cost. Means can you say this 20,000 will be allowed as an adjustment? It means the borrowing cost of second year will be 33,200 minus 20,000. 33,200 minus 20,000. Understood this point? Have you understood this point? Bolo. Have you understood this point? Class note is already shared. Class note has been given, India Saaransh book has been given, question bank has been given, MCQ book has been given, test series will be provided. I have given everything free. This time everything free, but you need to be committed. If you just try to understand, you have book, you have question bank, you have class note, you have MCQ, you have test series, you have my lectures free, but marks will not come if you are not committed. Trust me, marks will not come even though everything is free till you become dedicated, till you are committed, till you are determined. Marks will not come. Try to understand one fact. Result is 20%. Result is 20% means 80% will be out of the game. If you want to come to 20%, extra effort is required. CA exam only tests your discipline, only tests your commitment, only tests your focus, only tests your determination, not more than that. Chalega? Have you understood this thing? This last point, have you understood? Can I proceed? With this chapter is completed. With this chapter is completed. Only there is one point about group financial statement that I will explain with the question. This last point I will explain with the question. Second year I said now exchange gain whatever has been calculated in second year will be allowed as an adjustment to the interest cost to the extent of exchange loss which was allowed as an adjustment in the previous year. In the previous year what was the exchange loss? 50,000, and in the next year what is the exchange gain? 20,000. So it is nothing but recovery of exchange loss. Recovery of exchange loss. So that will be allowed as an adjustment to the interest cost. So whatever borrowing cost you have calculated, deduct exchange gain, the net amount will be the borrowing cost to be capitalized. Understood now? Same thing is given if you read now, everything you will understand by own. Means my India's Saaransh book has been compiled in such a way now that it covers all the concept and in the readable format. Try to understand when you read the India's in flow chart, in what, in that style, you will not be able to write in exam. So you should understand in what para format. What is the implication of that? Correct now. Therefore, I always feel that if you read this now, you will be able to understand what to do, what not to do in exam. Arey Baba, let me explain again. Chalo, theek hai. This you understood. First year you understood or not? First year you understood or not? Second year what I am saying, try to understand. Second year what happened? You can see the exchange rate from 85 it become 83. So it means there is an exchange gain. So first we need to calculate interest on foreign currency borrowing. So that will be 10,000 into 4% into 83. This is your interest expense. But you have an exchange gain of 20,000. Now normally first year exchange gain will never be allowed as an adjustment to interest cost. But what India's 23 says that if subsequently there is an exchange gain, that will be allowed as an adjustment to interest cost to the extent of previous year exchange loss which was allowed as an adjustment in previous year. So how much was allowed as an adjustment in previous year? 50,000, and in this case how much? 20,000. So it means 20,000 will be allowed as an adjustment in the second year. Correct? Got this point? So what is your borrowing cost? So your borrowing cost will be now 33,200 minus 20,000, that is 13,200. This will be the borrowing cost as per Ind AS 23, which may be capitalized if all the requirement of Ind AS 23 is satisfied. Understood? Chalega? Chalo. Now let us come to the questions. Questions. So what are the questions I have taken? I need to take question Ind AS 23. 7 already we have done. Come to 14. Come to 14. 14 is simple, only you can do it by your own. 14 you do by your own. This is homework, self practice. Okay, I will not do. Come to 17. 17 is a good question, can be asked. I said now the last point about group financial statement that will be covered in the question of 17. Not yet asked in exam, can be asked in exam. Can be. In a group with parent company P, there are 3 subsidiaries with the following business. A, real estate company, B, construction company, C, finance company. So these are the 3 subsidiaries. Parent company has no operating activity of its own but perform management function for its subsidiary. Okay. Financing activities and cash management the group are coordinated centrally. Okay. Finance company is a vehicle used by the group solely for raising finance. This finance company only raise finance. Okay. All entities in the group prepare Ind AS finance statement. Okay, sir. Real estate company. So in this question, you need to find out borrowing cost for individual financial statement of subsidiary company and borrowing cost for the consolidated financial statement of parent company. Okay. The borrowing is 10 lakh with an interest rate of 7%. And expenditure on qualifying asset during the period is 15 lakh 40,000. So can I say in this case we have borrowing as well as we have a qualifying asset, but expenditure is more than loan amount. Can we capitalize more than actual borrowing cost? No. And therefore in this case borrowing cost to be capitalized will be the amount of actual borrowing cost, that is 7% of 10 lakh. So 70,000 will be capitalized. 70,000 will be capitalized. Understood? First you understood. If you apply 15 lakh 40,000 7%, that will be more than actual borrowing cost, which is not permissible. Chalega. Correct? All the construction work were performed by the construction company. Means for real estate company, all the construction work was performed by the construction company. So of course, can is a construction company, even though it is a part of group company, will charge some profit on that, will add some profit on their work. Amount invoiced to real estate company include 10% profit margin. So can this 15 lakh 40,000 include 10% profit margin of construction company? But that is the profit of what? Construction company. Real estate company, what is the cost? For real estate company, the expenditure is 15 lakh 40,000. Understood? Construction company, no borrowing. Can you say no borrowing? The question of borrowing cost capitalization will not arise. Therefore, nothing will be capitalized. However, finance 10 lakh of expenditure on qualifying asset using its own cash resource. Okay, even though they have some qualifying asset, but it does not mean borrowing cost will be capitalized if there is no borrowing. There is no borrowing, the question of borrowing cost capitalization will not arise. Finance company raised 20 lakh at 7% per annum externally, means they have taken loan from external market 20 lakh and issued a loan to parent company, and this loan was diverted to parent company for general corporate purpose at a rate of 8%. Means they have taken loan from outside at 7% and they have given this loan to parent company at 8%. Correct? Means here also no borrowing cost to be capitalized because there is no qualifying asset. First, have you understood real estate company, construction company and finance company? No. In real estate company, the expenditure is 15 lakh 40,000. In real estate company, in the financial statement, real estate company will not eliminate any internal profit. Will eliminate internal profit where in consolidated financial statement. Understood? Chalega. Now let us come to what? Parent company. So for parent company, what they have said, use loan from finance company to acquire new subsidiary. Means whatever loan they have received from finance company was used to acquire new subsidiary company. Okay, sir. No qualifying asset apart from those in real estate company and construction company. Means parent company they do not have any qualifying asset of their own. So they have two qualifying asset. One is real estate company, one is from construction company. Parent company did not issue any loan to other entity during the period. They have not given any loan to any other entity. It means if you see the consolidated financial statement, So can you say in CFS, one this loan will come 7% 10 lakh, 7% 10 lakh. And when this loan will come, my question to you all, this finance company loan will come at 7% or 8%? It is 7% because 8% will be contra kata kata. That will be contra. So this 7% loan which has been taken from outside, that will only come. So 7% loan will be how much? That is 20 lakh. And there are two qualifying asset. One is qualifying asset 1, that is 15 lakh 40,000, but this 15 lakh 40,000 include profit of construction company. So we'll do how to calculate 15 lakh 40,000, and the profit margin is 10%. So we'll do 10 by 110 and into 10 divided by 110. The profit become 1 lakh 40,000, means 15 lakh 40,000. If you do 10 by 110, the profit is 1 lakh 40,000. That will be eliminated. Therefore, your expenditure in consolidated financial statement will be 14 lakh. And this one qualifying asset 2. What is the qualifying asset 2? That is what, 10 lakh? Yes or no? So this is 10 lakh. Now try to understand, when we come to CFS, we'll not make one-to-one relationship. Now we'll say what is our general borrowing, this, and rate of interest is 7%. So there is no need to calculate capitalization rate. Can you say capitalization rate will be 7% only? Because both are 7, 7. So your capitalization rate becomes 7%. This 7% will be applied on this. This 7% will be applied on this, and this will be the amount of expenditure, amount of borrowing cost to be capitalized. Amount of borrowing cost to be capitalized, only this much. Understood this point? Super important question can be asked in exam. Super important question can be asked in exam. Chalega? Can I proceed? Yes, sir. 17 done. Now come to 22. 20 is also a good question. What they have given, Harish Construction Company is constructing a huge building project consisting of 4 phases. It is expected that a full building will be constructed over several years, but phase 1 and phase 2 of the building will be operational as soon as they are completed. Means there are 4 phases, but phase 1, phase 2 will be completed, and phase 3, phase 4 is not yet completed. Cash expenditure has been given, building purchase has been given, so this becomes total expenditure. And total expenditure of all the phases 221 lakh, and loan taken at a rate of 15% at the beginning of the year 200 lakh. Now you can see your expenditure is more than what? Loan amount. It means, can I say, we need to only capitalize borrowing cost to the extent of actual borrowing cost. Correct? It means we need to first find out here 200 into 15%, how much? That is 30 lakh, and this 30 lakh can be capitalized. So what we'll do, we will allocate this 30 lakh to all these phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 in the ratio of their expenditure. That only I have said. Whenever expenditure on qualifying asset is more than loan amount, it means we can capitalize only to the extent of actual borrowing cost. In that case, actual borrowing cost will be allocated to phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4 in the ratio of their expenditure. Correct? Now in this question, because phase 1, phase 2 was completed, so what they have done, they have combined these two. They have combined these two. Are you getting what I am saying? They have combined these two, and then they have combined these two. Correct? So what is the total? Total is 34 plus 64. How much? 98. What is total? 55 plus 68. 55 plus 68, that is 123. And total become 221. So now this 30 lakh will be allocated to phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3 and phase 4 in the ratio 98 is to 123. That only they have done. Check karo. The interest expense is 30 lakh. Total cost of phase 1, phase 2 98 lakh. Total cost of phase 3, phase 4 120 lakh. Total is 221 lakh. Now, interest on loan used for phase 1, phase 2 has been allocated in this ratio, and they have allocated 30 lakh in the ratio of expenditure. Now, because this phase 1, phase 2 was completed in the mid of the year, okay, 6 months will be capitalized and 6 months will be charged to profit and loss account. So, out of this, 6 by 12 will be capitalized and 6 by 12 will be charged to PL account as an expense. But this is not yet completed. This is not yet completed, and therefore this entirely will be capitalized. This will be entirely capitalized, and it is given that phase 1, phase 2 are operational. As soon as they are completed, means can I say we can use phase 1, phase 2 even though the work on phase 3, phase 4 is not completed, and therefore we can cease borrowing cost for we can cease the capitalization borrowing cost for phase 1, phase 2. Understood this point? Same explanation has been given यहाँ पर. चलेगा? We have done 22. Come to 23. 23 already I have explained. Come to 24. 24 you do by your own, or because already I have explained about entire commencement, suspension and when to cease. This is very good question. This you do by your own as homework. I don't think so now you will have doubt, but very good question. Perfect question from MCQ's point of view. 25. This is nothing but foreign currency borrowing. This also you can do by your own. Already explanation I have done. So with this I have completed all the question. This is very good question, have been asked recently in RTP. I will explain this. 26 I will explain right now, but have you understood or not? 26 I will explain right now. This very good question given in what? The new RTP. What is given? An entity borrowed 10 lakh specifically to finance the cost of constructing a new head office. How much? 10 lakh specifically. This specific borrowing. The loan was availed on 1st May. Interest was payable 12% per annum up to 1st Feb 2009. So interest was payable at a rate of 12% per annum up to 1st Feb. Oh my God. It means from 1st May to 1st Feb, interest was 12%. After which the rate was revised to 13% owing to increase in the secured overnight financing rate. SOFR is one rate just like RIBOR and MIBOR. So after that the rate become 13%. Okay sir. The construction of building does not begin until 1st December 2008. The construction of building does not begin until 1st December 2008. Okay sir. Okay. The loan was availed on 1st May, but the construction was started on 1st December and continue without interruption until after the year end on 31st March 2009. Correct. So and continue without interruption after year end up to 31st March 2009. Okay. During the period of construction, the entity incurred directly attributable cost of 1 lakh in December 2008. What is the expenditure in December month? 1 lakh, and 2,50,000 in each month from Jan to March. So Jan, Feb, March, 2,50,000, 2,50,000, 2,50,000. For simplicity, it is assumed that these costs are incurred on the first day. Even though not given, we'll always assume first day of each month. Correct? Each month, the borrowing less any amount that is to be expected for the building work in that month is reinvested and earn interest at a rate of 5% per annum. What they are saying? Each month, the borrowing less any amount that is to be expended for the building work in that month are reinvested. Means can I say the fund which is not used for the expenditure will be invested temporarily outside the business, and in that you will earn 5% per annum. Means we need to also calculate interest income earned on temporary fund. For the year ended 31st March 2009, the entity incurred interest expense of 1,11,667 on 10 lakh loan and earned 37,917 as interest for the reinvested portion. So they have given for the year ended 31st March, they have given total borrowing cost on 10 lakh and total interest income. This is the question. Now we need to find out. Required, determine the amount of borrowing cost that will be capitalized. Can I explain with the solution? So can I say first we need to find out interest borrowing cost. So interest payable for the month of December. So can I say December it will be 12%, 12%, The rate is 12% and amount is what? Because this is specific borrowing. So we'll take 10 lakh. We'll take 10 lakh irrespective of expenditure. Irrespective of expenditure. So 10 lakh into 12% into 1 by 12 will take. Very good. Interest payable in the month of Jan. Once again 10 lakh into 12% into 1 by 12. But interest in the month of Feb. Feb it become um, Feb it become what? 13%. So 10 lakh into 13%. And for the March it is also 13%. So this become total borrowing cost. Total borrowing cost. Here only you will do mistake because this specific borrowing will take the loan amount, will not take the expenditure amount. Understood this point? First thing you understood. Now we need to calculate interest income. Now interest income we need to find out on reinvested fund in the month of September. Correct? Means we need to find out how much is actually interest income earned. Correct? Yes, sir. So can you say we need to start from which month? बताओ. We need to start from which month? Something wrong they have given. It will not be September. This will be December. This will be January. This will be February. This will be March. Okay, correct. They have mentioned wrong month. Therefore, I was also confused. So can you see in the month of December, 10 lakh was the total fund, out of which 1 lakh has been used. Into 5% into 1 by 12 we will calculate. This have you understood? Then in the month of Jan it is 9 lakh, then 2 lakh 5,000 has been used. Into 5% into 1 by 12 this will be invested, and from that we'll earn interest income. Then in the month of Feb it will be 6 lakh 50,000 because 9 lakh minus 2 lakh 50,000, now 6 lakh 50,000. Out of that how much has been used in this month? 2 lakh 50,000. The balance will be invested at a rate of 5% for 1 month. It will be 1667. Then last it is 4 lakh, and how much used? 2 lakh 50,000. The balance has been invested, that is 625. So this is the interest income. So 8750 become interest income, and the net amount of borrowing cost will be capitalized 32917. Understood? Chalega. Make one correction. This will not be September. This will be December, January, February, March. Understood? Chalega. Okay, sir. Done. Chapter is over. Game is over. We'll take 5 minute break. After 5 minute break, we'll do India's 41. Acha, I need to give the questions also to be done by you. Write down the questions which you are supposed to do for this particular chapter. 7 we have done. 9 you do. 9 you do. 10 you do. 14 already I have said. 14 you do. 16 you do. 18 you do. 19 is super important but very simple. These are the CA inter level questions. 21 you do. 24 already I have said. 25 already I have said. Done. All the questions given. We'll take a 5 minute break. After 5 minute break, we are meeting again. Chalega? Yes, sir. Now, are you ready? Yes. Are you ready? After break, can we start once again? One doubt came during the break time. Then in the last question, sir, why you didn't take interest income from 1st May? Just try to understand if you are capitalizing the borrowing cost from the month of December. Of course, interest income will be also taken from the month of December only. Got this point? Chalega? Yes, sir. Okay. Now we'll start. India's 41 agriculture. Super easy, correct? Why super easy? Because in this chapter you are supposed to understand only 2-3 points. If you know 2-3 points, all the questions you can do by rote. Now, when I say India's 41 is for agriculture, but we don't do accounting of agriculture in this chapter. Students think that agriculture accounting is done as per India's 41. No. India's 41 cover biological asset related to agriculture activity. Means any biological asset which are related to agriculture activities will be covered in this chapter. There is one exception, beer plant. Beer plant, even though related to agriculture activity, will be covered under India 16. So it will include biological asset related to agriculture activity, means all living animal, but all plant, but other than beer plant. So what is beer plant? I will explain. Understood? Means can I say if I have some biological asset not related to agriculture activity, that is outside the scope of this chapter. For example, if you purchase dogs, if you purchase dog for security purpose or for any other purpose, correct now, that is not related to agriculture activity and therefore this is outside the scope of India's 41. I will say that will be covered under India 16. That will be covered under India 16 because India 16 has scoped out only biological assets which are related to agriculture activities. Which are related to agriculture activities. Got this point? Yes, sir. Now it will also include agriculture produce only at the point of harvesting. Only at the point of harvesting. Means any agriculture produce after harvesting is not covered in this chapter because that will be covered under India's 2. That will be covered under India's 2. Means can is in simple word, if you detach mango from mango tree, that point of time when you do the detachment, India's 41 will be applicable. But once it is detached, harvested, after that India's 2 will be applicable on that mango. It will be also covered, it will be also applicable to government grant. Yeah, sorry. It will be also applicable to government grant related to biological activities. Because all government grant is covered under India's 20. After this, we'll do India's 20. But only government grant related to biological asset which are covered in this chapter will be taken into consideration in this chapter. This government grant related to animal, government grant related to plant, but other than beer plant will be covered in this chapter. Okay, related to living animal, related to plant other than beer plant. So one clarification has been given. Beer plant outside the scope of this chapter. Government grant related to beer plant outside the scope of this chapter because for that India's 20 will be applicable. Any land related to agriculture activity, agriculture land will be covered under India's 16. Intangible asset related to agriculture activity will be covered under India's 38. These are the clarification given. Means can I say we need to understand what is the meaning of agriculture and what is the meaning of harvesting, then only we can go into what the other part of this chapter. The agriculture means what? In simple, what I will say, agriculture is nothing but management by the entity, management by the entity, correct, of biological transformation and harvesting of biological acid. Means if these two conditions satisfied, management of biological transformation and harvesting, means any entity engaged in biological transformation as well as harvesting, that is known as agriculture activities. Means if you are only engaged in biological transformation, this is not agriculture activities. If you are engaged only on harvesting, this is not a agriculture activities. Means if any entity is engaged in biological transformation means what? Changes in biological formation of any animal or plant, we can say in this way. Means if when a child is born, the child become adult, that is nothing but biological transformation. That is nothing but biological transformation. Understood? So if any entity is engaged in biological transformation as well as harvesting, harvesting with detachment, or it is also include any cessation of the life of biological acid. Means if you cease the life of biological acid, that is also known as harvesting. That is also known as harvesting. Correct? For three purposes: for sale, for conversion into agriculture produce, for conversion into additional biological acid. Means agriculture activity include only three purpose: for sale in the ordinary course of business also. Means any biological acid is held for sale in the ordinary course of business. Ind AS 2 will not be applicable. Ind AS 41 will be applicable. Understood? So for sale, for conversion into agriculture produce, for conversion into additional biological acid. If these three purposes are there, then the activity will be agriculture activities. Understood? Have you understood? Means just try to understand, if you managing animal for recreational activity, it is outside the scope of this chapter, because this is not for sale, not conversion into additional biological acid. Got this point? Yes, sir. So biological transformation, this you read by alone. Harvesting, already I have explained, it is detachment of the produce from biological acid, or it is nothing but cessation of the biological acid life process. So either you detach or you cease the life of what? Biological acid. Both are covered in the definition of harvesting. Chalega. Biological acid, you understand, living animal and plant, but it will, but bearer plant will be outside of this, outside the scope of this chapter. So what is bearer plant? What is bearer plant? Any plant which satisfy three conditions. Any living plant which satisfy three conditions will be bearer plant. First condition, use in the production and supply of agriculture produce. Use in production or supply of agriculture produce. Let me take some examples. Suppose, try to understand. This is mango tree. Correct? This is mango tree. This is annual crops. And this is pine tree. You know pine tree, this pine tree is normally used for attraction. I'm not good in drawing. And let us say this is banana tree. This is banana tree. Okay. Now let us apply condition 1, condition 2, condition 3 in all these four plant. Okay, sir? Yes, sir. Chalega. So what they are saying? Beer plant, it is a plant that is used in production or supply of agriculture produce. So can you say, try to understand, condition 1 is satisfied यहाँ पर, condition 1 is satisfied यहाँ पर, condition 1 is not satisfied यहाँ पर, because pine tree is not held for production, therefore pine tree is not a bearer plant. And can you say it is also held for production? It is used in production or supply of agriculture produce, because banana tree will get banana. Chalega? Yes, sir. Then what is the second? Expected to bear produce for more than one period. So can you say, if I will say condition 2 will be satisfied for mango tree, but condition 2 will not be satisfied for annual crop, because they are expected to produce for less than 1 year. Therefore annual crop, even though condition 1 is satisfied, condition 2 is not satisfied, that is not a bearer plant. And can I say this is the outside the scope of condition 2? Can I say this banana tree, the knowledge whatever I have, banana tree is also expected to produce banana for more than 1 year. Therefore, condition 2 will be satisfied for banana tree. Okay, sir? Yes, sir. Then coming to last condition, not held for sale as agriculture produce during its life, means that that plant itself is not an agriculture produce. Means that tree, that plant itself is an agriculture produce, then that will not be a bearer plant. Correct? Means if the tree is held for sale as an agriculture produce during its life, then it will not be a bearer plant. So can you see this mango tree is not held for sale? This is not held for sale as an agriculture produce. Means the tree is not an agriculture produce. Therefore, third condition will be satisfied. But for this banana, can you say banana tree is also held as an agriculture produce? If you see many festival, banana tree are used. So banana tree is also harvested. So the banana tree itself is an agriculture produce, and therefore, from my knowledge point of view, whatever I know, the third condition will not be satisfied. Therefore, banana tree will not be a bearer plant, and therefore, in this case, Ind AS 16 will be applicable, but in this case, 41, 41, 41 will be applicable. Understood? This point correct. Means can I say mango tree become the example of bear plant, but all these three examples, whatever I have given after mango tree is not an example of bear plant. For that, Ind AS 41 will be applicable. One clarification has been given that any agriculture produce of bear plant will be covered in this chapter. Means this mango at the point of harvesting, mango at the point of harvesting, that is agriculture produce at the point of harvesting, will be covered in this chapter. Got this point? Have you understood this point? Have you understood? Yes or no? Say, then only I will proceed. Very important for MCQ type of question. Bolo. Have you understood this point? Understood? This has been given. You can read by own for your understanding. Now you need to find out. This type of question can be asked in exam. Manage breeding program animal. Ind AS 41 is applicable. Manage breeding program. Ind AS 41 applicable. Growing plant for producing drug. If you are growing plant for producing drug means that wala not drug, medicine drug. Okay, that is also covered in Ind AS 41. Maintaining livestock. If you are managing livestock, Ind AS 41 is applicable. Forestation, Ind AS 41 is applicable. But for deforestation, can I say deforestation does not include any biological transformation. If you have a contract for deforestation, it will not include any biological transformation, and therefore this is outside the scope of Ind AS 41. Annual cropping, perennial cropping, Ind AS 41 applicable. Floriculture means growing flower, Ind AS 41 is applicable. Aquaculture means fish farming. Aquaculture means what? You will have an artificial pond, in that you will grow sea animal. So that is known as aquaculture. Can I say in that also Ind AS 41 will be applicable? But fishing in the ocean. Can I say when you are doing fishing in the ocean, then you are not involved in biological transformation. You are only involved in harvesting, and therefore this is outside the scope of this chapter. Ind AS 41 is not applicable. Development of living organism means living organism such as cells, bacteria, virus for research purpose. Ind AS 41 is not applicable. But for sale or use in dairy product, then Ind AS 41 is applicable. However, if the question is silent, then you assume for research purpose, and then Ind AS 41 is not applicable. Chalega. Managing animal related recreational activity, Ind AS 41 not applicable. Natural breeding of animal in zoo, not Ind AS 41 is not applicable. Purchase a dog for security purpose, Ind AS 41 not applicable. I think no doubt in this. If you have any doubt, you can ask me right now. Can be important for multiple choice question. Done? Chalo. Now recognition and measurement, it is very simple. First recognition criteria. Now they have given three conditions. First condition, entity must have control over such asset. It is probable that future economic benefit associated with the asset will flow to the entity. And third condition, cost or fair value can be measured. Means it is quite possible for biological asset you are not able to measure cost. Therefore, if you are able to measure fair value, then also you can recognize. Okay, sir. So either fair value or cost can be measured reliably. In that case, if all the three conditions satisfied, biological asset recognized in our financial statement. What is the first condition? Entity must have control over such asset. It is probable that future economic benefit associated with the asset will flow to the entity, and fair value or cost can be measured reliably. Now measurement, very simple. I will say in one line we can stop the discussion. Initial recognition as well as subsequent recognition will be done at fair value less cost to sale. Fair value less cost to sale. Now fair value is measured as per the requirement of Ind AS 113. Fair value is measured as per the requirement of Ind AS 113. Okay, sir. But fair value will be given the question, nothing to worry. Initial recognition is done at fair value, less cost to sale. Subsequent recognition is done at fair value, less cost to sale. So there is one presumption that fair value can be measured reliably for any biological asset. So there is one presumption taken that fair value can be measured reliably for any biological asset. Therefore, initial measurement is also done at fair value, less cost to sell. Why? Because most of the biological asset cost cannot be identified. For example, if you take one example of self-grown plant, so quite possible you are not able to identify the cost. If suppose a calf is born from cow, so what is the cost of that calf? You will not be able to measure it, and therefore, as per industry practice, initial measurement as well as subsequent measurement is done at very less cost to sell. Understood this point? Have you understood this point? Means try to understand. Suppose you buy a cow of 3 year initially, 3 year age was 3 year, cost price was 100, fair value was 100, and cost to sell was 10. So fair value less cost to sell is 90. So even though cost price was 100, you need to recognize that fair value less cost to sell. So what journal entry will do? Biological asset account debit to bank. Biological asset will come at 90. To bank it will be 100, and loss, the difference loss, that will be charged to profit and loss account as an expense. Chalega. Then can you say at year end one, this will become cow of 4 year. This will become cow of 4 year. Yes or no? So the cow of 3 year will become cow of 4 year. So once again we'll find out fair value. So fair value become 150, let's say, and cost to sell become 10. So fair value less cost to sell become 140. So 90 become 140. So how much increase? Increase is what? 50, and that 50 will be fair value gain, or it can be fair value loss also. So any fair value gain or loss will be transferred to PL immediately. Any fair value gain or loss will be transferred to PL immediately. Understood? So biological asset account debit to gain on subsequent measurement will say 50. Understood? Chalega. Now what India's 41 says that this changes, this price change, this changes from 90 to 140, means this fair value change can be due to two reasons. One can be due to price change, other can be due to physical change. Means there are two reasons for changes. One is price change, one is physical change, and we need to also disclose how much change is due to price change, how much change is due to physical change. If it means, if whenever the question has given this type of information to find out this, we need to find out this by our own. So for that, they will also give you one more information. At year in one, the cow of 3 year was of how much? So let's say cow of 3 year was of rupees 110. Of rupees 110 means 120 minus 10. 120 minus 10. So what does it mean? Try to understand. Means at the beginning of the year, what was the fair value of cow of year 390? At year end 1, what is the fair value of cow of year 3? That is 110. So 90 become 110. This is what price change. Because both are year 3, means cow of age 3 at the beginning of the year, cow of age 3 at the end of the year. So the difference is price change. The price is 90 minus 110, so that is 20. And cow of age 3 at year end 1, and cow of age 4 at year end 1. So 110 become 140. So this is what physical change due to changes in physical. Are you getting physical change? So it is 140 minus 110 is 30. 30 become what? Physical change. You need to also calculate this whenever question require this calculation. Understood this para? Have you understood? Understood? Sir, for beekeeping, for harvesting honey, will India's one will be applicable? Wow, 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 wow. Wow, wow, wow. Just try to understand, if you are involved in biological transformation as well as harvesting, it will be covered under India's 41. Okay, sir. Correct? Now I am not good in agriculture. Just apply the definition. If you are involved in biological transformation as well as harvesting, it will be what? A part of agriculture activity, and then it will be covered. Simply speaking. Chalega? Yes. Age value difference and fair value gain both. What do you asking? Have you understood this part? Let me take one more example. Suppose a new calf was born at Y0. So cost price 0, but it has a fair value of 100 and cost to sell is 10. So it become 90. So even though cost price 0, it will be measured fair value less cost to sell. Fair value less cost to sell is 90. Okay, this 90 will be entirely your gain. You will pass one journal entry biological asset account debit to gain on initial measurement. So initially entire will become gain. You recognize entire gain on initial measurement. Understood. Then at year end, suppose fair value become 150, cost to sell is 10, fair value less cost to sell is 140. So there is a gain of 50 and that will be subsequent measurement gain. You will pass one journal entry, biological asset account debit to gain on subsequent measurement, and this will be transferred to profit and loss account. Chalega? Yes, sir. Any doubt? Understood this part? So initial recognition and subsequent recognition is done at fair value less cost to sell, but there is one exception to this rule. What Ind AS 41 says that if suppose you are not able to measure the fair value initially, quite possible sometime what happens that we are not able to measure the fair value initially, then in that case we'll apply cost model for the recognition and measurement. Understood? So what Ind AS 41 says that if fair value of biological asset cannot be measured reliably, it will be measured as per cost model as per the requirement of Ind AS 16, and cost model will be as per Ind AS 16. It means cost model will be cost price less accumulated depreciation less accumulated impairment loss. Means can I say any biological asset for which fair value cannot be measured initially, we can apply cost model. In that case, that biological asset will be depreciated as well as impaired also. So depreciation will be as per Ind AS 16 and impairment loss will be as per Ind AS 36. Till now this type of question has not been asked. Super dangerous question if they ask in exam. Chalega? Means what they want to say. What they want to say, try to understand. Try to understand. Try to understand. Suppose this is y0, y1, y2, y3, y4. Now, initially, suppose you are not able to measure fair value, then you will apply cost model. Here also you are not able to measure fair value, then you will apply cost model. Here suppose you are able to measure fair value, then you have to shift from cost model to fair value less cost to sale. Understood? Means once fair value can be measured reliably, then you can't apply cost model, then you have to shift from cost model to fair value model. Understood? Means cost model can be applied only till the date you are not able to measure fair value. Understood this point? Have you understood this point? But once fair value model is applied, then you can't shift from fair value model to cost model. Then you can't shift from fair value model to cost model. Understood? Have you understood this point? Correct. It means can you say there are two type of biological asset for which cost model is applied, for which fair value model is applied. Understood? So if the cost model is applied, then in that case it will be depreciated as well as impaired. But this will not be depreciated, will not be impaired. This will not be impaired. So any biological asset which are measured fair value less cost to sell, that will not be depreciated, that will not be impaired, that will not be depreciated, that will not be impaired. Understood this point? Have you understood this point? Bol. You become slow. Means I am fast, you are not responding quickly now. I will stop for 2 minutes. You just first come to my position, okay? Means after break, I think you came late. Have you understood this point? Achha, I just want to ask one question before I start any other thing. Right now, try to understand. You are a CA student. Okay. You are a CA student. Means you are a student? Means you are a student or not? Yes or no? But what I have found that try to understand why this happened. I have never understood this point. Quite possible it was the case same when I was CA final student. Quite possible. I don't remember actually what was my position when I was in CA final. Once we came to CA final now, once we came to CA final now, we think that we are not a student, and we change. Try to understand it is quite possible when I was CA final student, I may be of this type. I don't know. We change means what? We don't behave like a student. We don't behave like a student. And this is the fact. No, you are not half CA. Don't consider yourself a half CA. Trust me, once you said you are half CA, now you'll never become CA. You are CA. You are not half CA. You are chartered accountant. Don't consider yourself as half CA. Consider yourself CA, and you say only one formality is left, only the examination is left. That is only a legal formality from ICF point of view. But we are CA. We'll give exam and will actually be able to sign the financial statement. Don't consider yourself as half CA. Huh? Correct yourself. You are not half CA. That's all now. This all movie etc. We means that actually change our concept. Trust me, you are not half CA. If you consider yourself as half CA, you remain half CA entire life. Just exam is pending. Bolo, yes sir, I am CA. Bolo, yes sir, I am chartered accountant. Everyone write down right now. Yes, I am CA Chiranjeev Jain. If your name is Chiranjeev Jain, write down CA. If your name is whatever, write down CA. Write down. Right now, I want everyone to write down CA prefix in your name. Everyone write down. I'll wait. CA substance of a form. And wherever you are studying, okay, suppose this is the table and you have some wall in front of your table, write down there this entire your name with a prefix here, write down today only, okay. And in your Facebook status, in your WhatsApp status, in your Instagram status, wherever, write down CA, okay. Today you will do that, but behave like student, huh? Behave like student. Behave like student means do proper study. Don't ignore it. Whatever you used to do when you were in class 10th, class 12th, foundation level, inter level, don't change yourself. Once you start changing yourself now, then the syllabus become heavy. Okay, sir? Yes, sir. Can we proceed? Yes, sir. Because we need to complete a syllabus also. So what was the point we were doing? Yeah. This point have you understood कि biological acid, if it is measured under cost model, if it is measured under cost model, then it will be depreciated as well as it will be tested for impairment. But if it is under fair value model, no depreciation, no impairment, no impairment. This point I hope you have understood. Chalega. Next point. Okay. This you can read by your own. Correct. This also you can read by your own. For agriculture produce. Coming to agriculture produce, simple. Any agriculture produce at the point of harvesting will be measured at fair value less cost to sell. At fair value less cost to sell, and subsequently on that Ind AS 2 will be applicable at each year end. And for the purpose of application of Ind AS 2, the fair value less cost to sell what was initially recognized, that will become the cost price. that will become the cost price. Let me give one example. Suppose this is mango tree, I have already said, correct, and this is mango, and this is the point of harvesting, point of harvesting. So this become mango, and at this point of time, can you say fair value less cost to sell, let's say was 100, will pass one journal entry, agriculture produce, or you can say you can also write on inventory. You can also write on inventory to gain on initial measurement, and this will become 100. But this is as per Ind AS 41. So at the point of harvesting, Ind AS 41 is applicable. Suppose you have done harvesting on 30th June. Now 31st March came. So on 31st March, Ind AS 2 will be applicable. And as per Ind AS 2, we have to measure at cost price or NRV, whichever is lower. So what Ind AS 41 says, read with Ind AS 2. It says that for this purpose, cost price will be equal to fair value less cost to sell. That will be equal to 100. And suppose NRV is 120, this will be measured at lower. This will be measured at lower. Understood? Have you understood this point? This point have you understood? I hope you have understood. This is very simple. Chalega. Means can you say on initial measurement of any agriculture produce at the point of harvesting, entire gain will be transferred to profit and loss account. Entire gain will be transferred to profit and loss account. Okay. Chalega? Yes, sir. Done. Then coming next point, gain or loss, already I have said gain or loss will be transferred to PL, whether it is on initial recognition or subsequent recognition, every gain or loss will be transferred to PL. This you read by row. Then accounting treatment I have given. So for purchase of biological asset, what general entry will do? Biological asset account debit to bank, and the difference, biological asset will be measured at fair value less cost to sale, and bank will be the payment made. Any difference will be gain or loss on initial measurement. Journal entry is done. Because in this chapter they normally ask journal entry. For additional biological asset means the new calf born. For additional biological asset, the journal entry what biological asset account debit to gain on initial recognition, and this will be measured initially at fair value less cost to sale. Now how to calculate fair value less cost to sale? This is very important. Now how to calculate fair value less cost to sale? So for that we need to apply Ind AS 113. What Ind AS 113 says that to find out fair value, transportation cost will be deducted. To find out fair value, transportation cost will be deducted from market price. So suppose this is the market price of biological asset. To sell the asset, so market price will be given the question. Less transportation cost to be incurred by the seller. This fair value is calculated from seller point of view, not from buyer point of view. Correct? This is as per Ind AS 113 requirement. So whenever you are calculating fair value, you should think about what is the transportation cost will be incurred by the seller at the time of sale. Means you are not doing sale, but if it is sold, how much transportation cost will be incurred to bring that asset in the relevant market, that will be given the question, nothing to worry. Okay, so this becomes fair value, and from this if you deduct transaction cost, so transaction cost at the time of sale, and therefore we call it cost to sale. So any cost to sale is a transaction cost. For example, commission paid on sale, brokerage on sale, these are transaction costs. So any transaction cost, that is cost to sale, to be incurred by the seller will be deducted, and this becomes fair value less cost to sale. Once again, this is very very important. Means to find out fair value, we deduct transportation cost from the market price. So market price minus transportation cost will be equal to fair value. From fair value deduct transaction cost. Transaction cost means cost to sale, and that will become fair value less cost to sale. This have you understood? Correct. So how to calculate fair value less cost to sell, you understood. Now how to calculate total payment? Total payment means whatever payment made by the buyer, whatever payment made at the time of acquisition. So that is whatever the purchase price, add transportation cost incurred by the buyer, add transportation cost. Actually this is actual and this is estimated. Because till now the sale has not been done, but this is the actual, because this is already incurred. Are you able to understand this point? Yes, sir. So transportation cost actually incurred by the buyer. Transaction cost actually incurred by the buyer. So any transaction cost on purchase. On purchase means commission paid, whatever. Correct now. That become transaction cost, and this is a total payment made by the buyer to buy the biological asset. Have you understood this two? This two is very, very important. Entire calculation, entire journal entry is based on this two. Got this point? Now, sometimes what happens, they give transaction cost, but they will not inform in the question whether the transaction cost is actually incurred by the buyer or it will be incurred by the seller. That is silent. So you will assume that either transaction cost is incurred by the seller, or you will assume transaction cost is incurred by both seller and buyer. You can't assume that transaction cost is only incurred by the buyer. Means whenever question is silent, what assumption you can take about transaction cost? Either it is incurred by only seller or incurred by both seller and buyer, but you can't assume that transaction cost is only incurred by the buyer, because normally in a transaction cost is incurred by the seller. Means if I purchase something from you, the transaction cost normally will be incurred by you, seller, but it can be incurred by both party. But it is only incurred by buyer. It is thoda sa wrong assumption. Understood this point? Yes, sir. Have you understood initial recognition? Now will come to subsequent recognition. If increase in the fair value less cost to sale, journal entry is what biological asset to gain on subsequent measurement. If decrease in the fair value less cost to sale, then journal entry is what loss on subsequent measurement to biological asset. Correct. Now coming to derecognition of biological asset. So derecognition can be done in two ways. Either on sale of biological asset. Whenever there is a sale of biological asset, what journal entry will pass, because sale means revenue, because this will be ordinary course of business. So for sale journal entry, for recognition of revenue, bank account debit revenue, bank account debit revenue. Now whatever biological asset has been sold, can you say that will be the carrying amount of that biological asset will recognize the cost of sale. So we'll pass one more journal entry, cost of sale to biological asset with the carrying amount of the biological asset sold, with the carrying amount of biological assets sold, and whatever selling expense actually incurred, that selling expense will be transferred to profit and loss account. So selling expense account debit to bank, and this selling expense will be transferred to PL account. Have you understood this on sale of biological asset? Sale of biological asset, you understood? Now, suppose derecognition has been done due to death of biological asset, means some animal has died. So can you see the carrying amount of that biological asset will be derecognized? So whatever the carrying amount of that biological asset on the date of death will be removed, means will pass one generative loss on derecognition to biological asset. Loss on derecognition to biological asset with the proportionate carrying amount of that biological asset which has been died. Correct. Then initial recognition of agriculture produce. Now whenever are we are means we are doing initial recognition of agriculture produce at the point of harvesting. At the point of harvesting, so there can be two situations. There can be two situations. Either on conversion of biological acid into agriculture produce due to cessation of biological acid life process. Means suppose if you have some animal and that animal the life cycle is ceased. So can you say this biological acid will now become agriculture produce? Correct now. So when you are seizing the life, so you are seizing the life to transform that biological acid into agriculture produce, which will be available for sale in the ordinary course of business. Are you getting what I am saying? So in that case, can I say biological acid will decrease and your agriculture produce will increase? What journal will do? Agriculture produce account debit to biological acid. Agriculture produce account debit to biological acid. So agriculture produce will be measured at pay very less cost to sell on that date. The information will be given to biological acid will be derecognized at carrying amount, and the difference will be gain or loss on initial measurement of agriculture produce. So this gain or loss will be transferred to profit and loss account. However, sometime what happened, we detach agriculture produce from the plant. So when you are detaching, so can you see there is no biological, means there is the life cycle of biological acid is not ceased. In that case, can you say your agriculture produce will increase? Your agriculture produce will increase. So in that case, you'll do agriculture produce to biological acid, means you'll decrease the value of biological acid. Okay, are you getting? So on detachment, what journal entry will do? Agriculture produce at fair value less cost to sell and to biological acid with the same amount. With the same amount. Have you understood this point? Any doubt? Any doubt this? Then subsequent recognition of agriculture produce will be done as per the requirement of Ind AS 2. Okay, sir. Chalega. The last point of this chapter, government grant. Government grant. Already I have said government grant related to bearer plant will be covered under Ind AS 2. So any government grant related to bearer plant will be covered under Ind AS 20. Now any government grant related to biological asset other than bearer plant will be covered under Ind AS 41, but there are two situations. If biological asset is major fair value, then what will do? If biological asset is major cost, then what will do? So what Ind AS 41 says that if this biological asset are major cost, then also government grant will be treated as per the requirement of Ind AS 20, means recognize government grant as per Ind AS 20. Super important. This is also very important. Understood now? So if there is any biological asset other than bearer plant but major under cost model, then government grant will be covered under Ind AS 20. But major under fair value model means at fair value less cost to sell, then government grant will be treated as per the requirement of Ind AS 41. And Ind AS 41 says in a very simple word, if the government grant is unconditional, without any condition, that will be transferred to PL immediately when the grant is received or receivable. So unconditional grant credited to PL when the grant is received or receivable. If it is conditional, we need to wait for the condition to be satisfied. Once the condition is satisfied, the entire grant will be transferred to PL. So create credited to PL when the condition attached to grant are satisfied. Understood? Can be important for MCQs. Disclosure you can read by rote. Chapter is over. Chapter is over. I'll take 10 to 20 minutes extra and I'll complete all the question whatever is required. Okay. So Ind AS 41, come to question number 7. Question number 7. What is given? XY Limited is farming entity where cow are milked on a daily basis. Very good question. Milk is kept in a cold storage immediately after milking and sold to retail distributor on a weekly basis. On 1st April 2001, XY Limited had a herd of 500 cow which were all 3-year-old. Okay. So they have how many cow? 500 cow. Age was how much? 3 years. During the year, some of the cow become sick. Means sick, so they will die. And on 30th September 2001, 20 cow died. 20 cow died. Out of 520 cow died means 480 left. On 1st October 2001, XY Limited purchased 20 replacement cow at a market price of 21,000. Means this is the cost price. These 20 cow were all 1 year old. So what is the age? 1 year is the age when they were purchased. Okay, sir. It means can I say they again buy 20 cows. So once again it becomes 500 cows. On 31st March 2002, XY Limited had 1000 liter of milk in cold storage. So this is agriculture produce, which has not been sold to retail distributor. The market price of the milk on 31st March 2002 is 20 per liter. When selling the milk to distributor, XY Limited incurs selling cost of 1 per liter. So it becomes 19 fair value less cost to sell. So this 1000 will measure at rupees 19. That is 19,000. That is 19,000. Information relating to fair value less cost to sell is given below. You can see date wise 1st April 2001. So just try to understand this 500 cow on 1st April 2001 was age of 3 years. It means the fair value was 27,000 and cost to sell was 1,000. Can you say this information is not relevant? Because their age was what? 3 years initially. Then on 1st October 2001, they again buy some cow, 20 cow of age 1 year. So age 1 year means this is the cow age, this is the age. So this is not relevant, this is not relevant, this is not relevant. And the cost to sell was 1,000. And on 31st March, can you see the cow whose age was initially 3 years become 4 years. So for 4 years, this is the relevant and this is cost to sell. And the cow whose age was 1 year on 1st October that become 1.5 year. So 1.5 year means this is relevant, this is not relevant, this is not relevant. Correct? First, have you understood what is relevant, what is not relevant? What is relevant, what is not relevant? Yes, sir. You can assume that fair value of 3.5-year-old cow on 1st October. Hence, subsequent recognition is done at year end. Therefore, this information is totally bakwas. So, we never do subsequent recognition on 1st October. So, this information is also not relevant. Past journal entry, we need to pass journal entry. First, what happened? Opening balance. For opening balance will not pass any journal entry. Correct? So, what we'll do on 1st October, how many cow died? 20 cow died. So let me first, we can do one working note. Working note is what? Initially, how many cows were there? 500. And what was the fair value less cost to sell? The fair value less cost to sell, you can see the fair value less cost to sell was 27,000. 27,000 minus 1,000 means 26,000. So 500 will be multiplied by 26,000. So this amount will come. And can you say out of this 520 cow doubt will de-recognize that carrying amount of 20 cow will be de-recognized at 26,000 only. At 26,000 only. So this amount will come. Correct? Understood. And on 1st October we purchased again 20 cow. So this will be initially measured at fair value less cost to sell, not at cost price. Fair value less cost to sell. So fair value less cost to sell was how much? That is 21,000 minus 1,000. That is 20,000. You can see that has been also measured at 20,000. So this becomes the total cost price on initial measurement. Now we'll do subsequent measurement on 31st March. So there are two cow. One is 480 cow and one is 20 cow. 480 cow of 4 year and 20 cow of 1.5 year. So 480, what is the fair value less cost to sell on year end? 26,500 minus 1,100. So 26,500 minus 1,100, that become 25,400. So multiply by 25,400. Understood. Similarly, 20 cow, what is the fair value less cost to sell? Already we have seen 23,500 minus 1,100. So 23,500 minus 1,100, that is 22,400. So that is 22,400. Correct. So this is the subsequent valuation, and the difference between these two will be the gain or loss. Will be the gain or loss on subsequent measurement. Have you understood this part? If you have understood this working, means you have understood. Have you understood this working? Yes, sir. Now let us do the journal entry. The first journal entry for the cow, the 20 cow died. So the journal entry will be loss on derecognition to biological asset. And always write on biological asset. Don't write on cow. In bracket you can write on the cow. What I have seen is student use the word cow, cattle, etc. No, biological asset. Because you are grown up, for plant and machinery also we write on PP normally in examination question. Okay, sir. We write on biological asset. Okay, don't write on cow, etc. Chalega. So first journal entry is loss on derecognition to biological asset. At its carrying amount, what was the carrying amount already we calculated? That is 4 lakh. Sorry, my mistake. 5 lakh 20,000 to 5 lakh 20,000. Correct. Then we purchased the cow. The fair value less cost to sale was 4 lakh. The journal entry was biological asset accountable to bank. The biological asset 4 lakh, but the payment has been done as per the payment done. That is 21,000 already given the question. 21,000 this is given. So 20 into 21,000, that is 4 lakh 20,000, and the difference will be loss, and loss will be transferred to profit and loss account. Understood? Correct. Now we'll come to year end. Year end will pass the journal entry for gain on subsequent measurement. However, they have done two journal entry. Means they have what they have done. They have calculated gain on this way. Means this first they have calculated this. What is the difference? Is this blue one? Then minus this. Whatever gain or loss is coming for that separate journal entry. Then 4 lakh minus 4 lakh 80,000. 4 lakh 48,000. So increase 48,000 for that separate journal entry. I will say you can pass one compound journal entry, but then also don't take risk. Do separate journal entry. So for 480 cow, there was a loss. You can calculate it. Okay, you can calculate it. So loss on subsequent measurement to biological asset. For 20 cow, what they have purchased, there is a gain. So biological asset to gain, that is 48,000. This is the subsequent measurement journal entry. Understood. Done. Then come to one more question. India's, we are doing India's 41, question number 8. Question. This is the super important. A similar question has been given recently. Correct now. So that you do Byron, but that is more better than this. You do this question Byron, I will do that question. Okay. In that question, there is some mistake done by the institute that also I will rectify. Question number 8, you do Byron. Okay. Come to one more question which has been given by the institute in this question. Question 19. Question 19. A Limited purchased 100 goat at an auction of 1 lakh on 30th September 2007. How much? 100. Okay. At rupees 1 lakh. Subsequent transportation costs were 1000. So subsequent transportation cost 1 lakh. So 1000 will be added. A Limited would have to incur the same transportation cost if it had sold its goat in the auction. Means same transportation cost will be incurred by the seller also. In addition, there will be 2% auction fee on the market price of goat payable by the seller. Means this 2% transaction cost is only payable by the seller. That is not by the buyer. It means the total payment is 1,01,000. Correct? A Limited so incurred 500 on veterinary expenses. This is some additional expenses which will be charged to profit and loss account as an expense. Correct now. This is not transaction cost. This is not arguing what I am saying. So this is some additional expense. Correct now. So that will be charged to profit and loss account expense. So what is the fair value less cost to sell? The fair value will assume whatever the purchase price, that is only market price on sale also, because no information has been given. You can't find with the question. However, the market price means buy price and sale price can be different. Got this point? But if nothing is given, we always assume 1 lakh is the market price on this date. Okay, sir. Then from this we'll deduct 1000. So this become fair value 99,000. And from that 2% of market price means 2000. So it become 97,000. The fair value less cost to sell is 97,000. So what journal entry will do? Biological asset 97,000. To bank 1,01,000 and difference loss will be transferred to PL account. And there is one veterinary expenses, whatever is expenses to cash 500. Understood this journal entry? This journal entry you understood? बोलो चलेगा? Yes sir. Next para. On 31st March 2018, the market value of gold in the most relevant market increases to 1,10,000. So now market value is 1,10,000. Transportation cost is 1000, deduct 1000 and 2% to 1,10,000 into 2%, that is 2,200. So this become 1,10,000 minus 1000 minus 2,200. So now it become 1,06,800. So 97,000 now we'll compare with 1,06,800. So minus 97,000. So what is the increase? 9,800. That will be gain on subsequent measurement and transfer to PL. So what journal entry they have done? Biological asset to gain 9,800, 9,800. This also you have understood. Bata. This you understood or not? Yes, sir. Then what is given? On 1st June 2008, the entity sold 18 gold. So out of 100, how much sold? 18 at an auction price of 20,000 to 20,000 become revenue. And incurred transportation cost 150. In addition, there is 2% auctioneer fee. The 2% 20,000 means 400. 400 plus 150. So 550 is selling expense. So in this case, just write down. First, we need to pass journal entry for revenue. Now, what journal entry they have done? I am not happy with this particular journal entry. This journal entry they have done, and they have not de-recognized the biological asset. I don't know now in the recent time they have changed the solution or not, but this is 100% wrong. Only they have done this journal entry. So what will be the journal entry for this? I am just writing. First journal entry will be bank account to revenue. How much? 20,000. Correct. Then selling expense account debit to bank, that is 550. You can see they have just done one compound journal entry for this. So you can also do the compound journal entry, your choice. Now we de-recognize also biological asset. So what was the carrying amount? 1,06,800 for the 100. 1,06,800 divided by 100 into 18. Okay, it become 19,224. Will de-recognize and will pass one journal entry cost of sale to biological asset. It is 19,224. This journal entry is missing. This journal entry is missing. Understood? Have you understood this point? Chalega? Any doubt in this? This is perfect journal entry. However, in the previous question number 8, the same journal entry has been done in some other way. If you want that journal entry also I can give. Or you have understood this. This is the better journal entry, but try to understand. You don't know what institute think about their solution. We will de-recognize. Of course, de-recognition need to be done or not? Yes, sir. So we'll do cost of sale to biological asset 19,224. Now, one more journal entry you can do, means other type of journal entry. What you can do means, can you say the carrying amount is 19,224 and 20,000 is the market price, and what is the selling expense, means transportation cost and auctioneer fee is 550. So this become how much? 20,000 minus 550, that is 19,450. Compare with 19,224. So 19,224. It become 226. So what you can do? First you can increase biological asset by 226 and you can recognize the gain. Normally just try to understand on sale date we never do subsequent recognition. I hate this type of journal entry, but institute has done in question number 8 and therefore I am explaining. This is the previous question which I have given as homework. Correct? Now the carrying amount of biological asset is now it become 19,450. So you will do cost of sales account debit to biological asset 19,450, and then you will pass one more journal entry for revenue that they have a cash account debit, selling expense account debit to revenue. So revenue was 20,000. This is 550 and this is 19,450. Just try to understand in this case what they have done. They have done subsequent measurement here on the date of sale. On the date of sale, we never do subsequent measurement. Revenue and cost of sales will be recognized separately. And can you say from SOP we will find out profit and loss account? That is my viewpoint. So that entry is also correct. This entry is correct, but you can follow ICS solution anytime. Chalega. This you have understood or not? Can we proceed? Yes, sir. We can proceed. Mistake you understood, they have forgot what? Yes, sir. Next point. On 15 September 2008, the fair value of 82 gold is 82,820. This is not at all relevant because we never do subsequent measurement on 15 September. 42 goat were slaughtered on that date. Slaughter means we have seized the life of the animal. Now it become inventory. So 42 goat, it will become carcasses and that will become inventory. This will increase inventory and reduce our biological asset. With a total slaughtering cost of 4,200, the total market price of carcasses was 48,300. This is fair value. And the estimated transportation cost to sell the carcasses was 420, the minus 420, and there was no selling cost expected. What is the fair value less cost to sell? 48,300 minus 420 is equal to what? 47,880. Chalega. So this becomes fair value less cost to sell. The inventory will be recognized at this amount. Biological asset will be de-recognized at carrying amount, proportionate carrying amount, and the difference will be gain or loss. However, they have done one compound journal entry with slaughtering cost. From my point of view, slaughtering cost should be recorded separately because this has nothing to do with the fair value less cost to sell. I hope you are understanding. But what journal entry they have done? Let's see. What they have done? Inventory, they go same amount 47,880. Biological asset will come at what? Proportionate carrying amount. So this will be 1,06,800 into 42 divided by 100. Same amount is coming. However, they have calculated here. Now they have also written 4,200 for slaughtering expense. From my point of view, this will be a separate journal entry, slaughtering expense to cash or bank, and the these two difference will be gain or loss on subsequent initial measurement of agriculture produce. But they have done this journal entry. Okay, chalega. They have done compound and they have adjusted in this the 4,200 expense also. Okay, sir. Can we move? Then at the end, can I say how many goat is left? 100 minus 18 minus 42. Means 40 is left. We'll do subsequent measurement for that. So for that information has been given. Ki on 30th September, the market price of remaining 40 goat were 44,800. Transportation cost 400, 2% auction fee. So 44,800, 2% how much? 896. Correct? Minus 400. So fair value less cost to sell become 43,505. So it is 43,505. And what is the carrying amount? Carrying amount will be 1,06,800 into 40 divided by 100. That will be 42,720. Difference is what? Minus 43,505. And there is a gain of 785. I think 1 rupees difference coming. Whatever. 1 rupees my difference coming. I think some approximation difference I have done. Okay, sir. This whatever mistake I have done, you just find out. So my answer is coming 785. So there is a gain. The gain is what? Biological asset accountability gain on subsequent measurement. Understood. All the working note has been given. This question is super duper expected. Write down. I don't know which item. Quite possible May or September or Jan, but it's going to come. This is my words. Write down super expected of 8 marks. 8 marks. Guaranteed question. Understood. Correct. This question also done. Come to question number now 9. There is one question 12. This question is also good question. I will just read, but this is theoretical question. You can do by own. Arun Limited is an entity engaged in the plantation and farming of large scale and diversified across India. On 1st April 2018, the company has received government grant for 20 lakhs subject to a condition that it will engage in the plantation of eucalyptus tree. Now the question is that eucalyptus tree is a bearer plant, is not a bearer plant. In exam, this doubt will come because you are not expert in agriculture now. How can you apply definition if you don't know the tree? So in this type of question, what institute has done? First, they have applied Ind AS 41. Then they have given one alternative solution also. If this is a bearer plant, then Ind AS 20 will be applicable. Means be on safer side. So whenever you have doubt, give both the answer. Okay, sir. For a coming period of 5 years, the management has a reasonable assurance that entity will comply with the condition of engaging in the plant of eucalyptus tree for a specified period of 5 years, and accordingly, it recognizes the proportionate grant of 4 lakh in SOPL. Means actually they have recognized the entire grant proportionately as per Ind AS 20. But as per Ind AS 20 also, it is not proportionately. It is as per the in the ratio, means in the useful life of the depreciable asset, because this will be depreciable asset. Correct now. In the ratio of depreciation. So there is one mistake here. Accounting for government grant and disclosure required. So first you should write on eucalyptus tree. If it is not a bearer plant, Ind AS 41 will be applicable. If it is initially measured fair value, then government grant will be covered under Ind AS 41 and it will be transferred to PL account only when the condition is satisfied. Correct. If the cost model, if it is measured under cost model, then Ind AS 2 will be Ind AS 20 will be applicable. In that case, it will be deferred. It will be treated deferred income, or it method. They have given two options there: either deduct from the cost price of asset, or can be treated as deferred income, which will be amortized over the useful life of the asset in the ratio of depreciation. However, if it is what bearer plant, then Ind AS 20 will be applicable. This type of answer is required. Can be asked in exam. I don't know. Then 12 also done. Then what we have 15. One question is 15 also. What is the question number 15? Let me read. This is also good question. I think you can do it. In this now we need to calculate the price change and physical change. Can you do it by own? Homework. I've already explained price change, physical change. Just do it by own. This is also good question already asked in exam. This was a new question asked in exam, but now it is not a new question. Then one more question 9. What is the 9? Question 9. Yeah. This question is, I always take it in the class because this will clear all the doubt. On 1st November 2001, C Agro Limited purchased 100 goat of a spacer breed from a market for rupees 10 lakh with a transaction cost of 2%. Goat fair value decreased from 10 lakh to 9 lakh as on 31st March. Now you can see they have given transaction cost, but they have not given this transaction cost is incurred by seller or buyer. Whenever question is silent, transaction cost will be either assumed to be incurred by seller or assumed to be incurred by both seller or buyer. Correct? And you can see they have also given the same thing. Transaction costs are only incurred by seller or transaction cost is incurred by both seller or buyer. Understood? Correct. Are you able to understand what I am saying? So if suppose this assumption has not been given, you assume either seller or both seller or buyer, whatever you are assuming, write down as a note. So if the transaction cost is incurred only by seller, then what will be the payment? Payment done is what? 10 lakh. But a fair value less cost to sell will be 10 lakh minus 2%, that is 9 lakh 80,000. So your first general will be biological asset 9 lakh 80,000 to bank 10 lakh, and the difference will be lost. And at year end it become 9 lakh. Once again transaction cost will be incurred. 2% of 9 lakh, it is 18,000. So 9 lakh minus 18,000 will be equal to 8 lakh 82,000. 8 lakh 82,000, correct? Now minus 9 lakh 80,000, can you say there is a loss of 98,000. So subsequently one more general will do loss to biological asset. If it is incurred both by seller or buyer, then this will be 9 lakh 80,000. But this will become 10 lakh 20,000 because 20,000 is also incurred by buyer. In that case, your total loss on initial measurement will become 40,000. Understood? All the question, whatever I was supposed to do, I have done. Chalega. Write down the question as homework. India's 41 is completed from my point of view. To question number 3. Question number 5, super expected must do. Super expected. In this question, one doubt will come. What is the doubt? I will explain right now. Entity A purchased the cattle. Purchase price given 1 lakh. Cost of transporting the cattle is 1,000. Sale price of the cattle is 1 lakh 10,000. Correct? The company would have to incur the similar transaction cost if it were to sell the cattle at the auction, in addition to the auctioneer fee of 2% sale price. My question to you all, from this para, what you are understanding? Whether this transaction cost is incurred by seller or both by seller or buyer, what you are understanding? Read this line. Company would have to incur similar transportation cost. This is transportation cost. The company would have to incur similar transportation. Transportation cost is incurred by both buyer and seller. Correct? In addition to an auctioneer fee, my question to this 2% of auctioneer fee from this para, what you are understanding? Incurred by seller or incurred by both seller or buyer? What you are understanding from this para? Now I am asking about auctioneer fee. I am not asking about transportation cost. Transportation cost is incurred by both. But I am asking about auctioneer fee means transaction cost from this para. But the company would have to incur similar transportation cost if it were to sell the cattle at auction in addition to an auctioneer fee. You are saying both by buyer and seller because I think you have done the question. But from my point of view, just try to understand. In addition, this is only for seller, and they have nowhere mentioned in the above that auctioneer fee was paid, and auctioneer fee is always paid by seller practically. You can see 2% sale price. When I am saying 2% sale price means paid by seller. So from my point of view, it is seller. But in the solution, they have given both by seller and buyer. I will say whenever you have doubt, take assumption. Write down this as a note that we have assumed that transaction cost is incurred only by seller if you are assuming only by seller. But in this question, they have assumed both by seller and buyer. So fair value less cost to sell, I think you have understood this. 1 lakh minus 1,000 minus 2,000. But cash outflow payment 1 lakh plus 1,000. From my point of view, this 2,000 should not come, but they have added, and now you can understand. Chalega? No, it is only incurred by buyer, wrong. If you are saying transaction cost is only incurred by buyer, super wrong. Either it is incurred by seller or it is incurred by both buyer and seller. Understood? I will say in exam they could try to understand, you need to apply concept. You will not remember what you have done in your practice session. Whatever you are assuming, write a note for that, because the question is not clear. And so I think best assumption is seller only. But whatever you assumption, whatever assuming, whatever assumption you are taking, write a note for that. I hope Ind AS 41 is also completed from my point of view. Now, have you understood Ind AS 23, Ind AS 41 or not? So what we have completed? We have completed Ind AS 16, Ind AS 38, Ind AS 2, Ind AS 40, Ind AS 23, Ind AS 41. Means 6 Ind AS to we have completed. No, no, no. You do. If you can do both options, great. But try to understand. In exam, you will not be in that mental status. Whatever you are doing, write the note for that. If you can do both, it is always welcome. Alternative solution is always welcome. Understood? But try to understand whether you will be in that situation to do both the solution in exam hall. You are running with time. Understood now? So, Abhi, it is very easy to say that you will do both, sir. But in exam, you will not have that much time. Correct? Now write on the question whatever you are supposed to do by your own. I've already said now 3 you do, 5 you do, 6 to I have done now, 7 I have done, 8 you practice by your own for practicing. Have a similar question we have done, that is super expected. 10th already I have explained. This 11 also you can do, you will be able to understand if you know present value. 15 is must do, must do, must do. 15 is must do. 17 is thoda sa bakwas question. You will be able to understand by the solution. If you are not able to understand, you can ask me. But okay, it is easy. You can do by your own. But read the solution. But bakwas type of question, because 17 is actually a question, I will say, of fair value measurement linked with what? Ind AS 41. It is a question in, you can see, growing and maintaining coconut palm. Now, coconut palm is a bearer plant, not a bearer plant. You will be totally confused. I will say read the solution, whatever solution is given, that you follow in exam. Okay, sir? You will be able to understand solution. Okay. Thank you very much. How was the session? Have you understood everything or not? But speed, everything is okay, because from first class to this class, I have reduced my speed. I have reduced my speed. Everything is okay or not? Now, once again, I am saying from the last time 5 days. Today is 4th day. Only the last day. Tomorrow it will be in live YouTube, and after every day live YouTube from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. But once 8:30 p.m. done, we'll delete the class from YouTube. Then if you are coming late, if you are joining late, you will not be able to understand everything. If you want to do entire class without any cost, you need to be on time. On time means 6 to 8:30. Okay, sir? Yes, sir. Tomorrow, which is standard one normal question. Every day you ask, na? Every day you ask a normal question. What you want? In my part 1, what we have? In part 1, what Ind AS 2 we have done, Ind AS 16 then, 30 then, 38 then, 40 then, 23, 20 will take. And then Ind AS 41 means will take 20, and then Ind AS 10 or Ind AS 37. I may take anything. Means I will not take Ind AS 36. Okay, Ind AS 36 I will take at the end. You can see how many hours I need to complete in 13 hours. Maximum 19 hours. How many hours I have given? 2.5 into 4 means 10 hours left. So only 3 hours to will not be able to complete. So actually we are now into 120. Maximum we can do 15 hours. 15 hours means 15 hours maximum we can give. Means 5 hours. Whether it will be completed? No. Means we are not as per our plan. I become thoda sa slow. And that's why I said, if you ask me to become slow, हो सकता है it will take more time. चलेगा? Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I hope you liked it. I hope you have understood it. Everything you are understanding, comment in the YouTube video also how you are liking that. Not in the live chat box. Comment in the video so that just try to understand. It will help other to understand how the classes are going on, because many one is not committed. And what I have understood that when they see a simple Indians, they don't join. Try to understand these small Indians are very important. Students don't fail because of big chapter. Because a big chapter, any question which is difficult, no one can do. But the marks will be increased. Your marks will become favorable from your point of view because of these small Indias. Okay, this is the thumb rule. We ignore small Indias and we struggle in exam hall. All the best. Love you all. Bye bye.